Just a Rinnegan? That's not enough. I want the Tenseigan too. Hey, fanfic family. So glad to see you here again to continue this incredible adventure. As always, kindly remember, this story is 100% fiction, so don't go looking for dimensional portals in your closet. All rights to this fantastic novel belong to the original author. We're just your humble narrators of epic tales. Are you enjoying the fanfic? Show it by subscribing to our YouTube channel and dropping us a like. And if you're impatient for more exclusive content, our Patreon is your happy place. Chapter 26. I want to see, how do you keep me? It is obviously the appearance of a majestic general, but it oozes a feminine woman's voice, which makes people shudder. When the saber rattling, Wang Badian came out to persuade peace. Yuanjie, you can take some things, but please consciously don't take more. Wang Badian stopped Huangfu Gongyan, who still wanted to speak. Baiki smiled softly and walked into the Jin family's treasure house with a sigh. Huangfu Gongyan's face was displeased, and he accused, Decepticon, why stop me? Wang Badian sighed, does your Huangfu family want to end up the same as the Jin family? What do you mean? Wang Badian transmitted, the Yuan family sisters and brothers are all SSS-level physiques. No matter who they are, they can dominate the side in the future. What we have to do is befriend them, not like we did back then. Huangfu Gongyan's expression was gloomy, and he didn't know what he was thinking. The three ancestors waited for a long time without seeing Bai come out, and entered the treasure house with a heavy heart, but the scene in front of them made them stunned. Good guys, all emptied, not one left. Wang Badian, is this what you call the way of friendship? Huangfu Gongyan said with a smile. The Wang family did not respond. This is a decision made by their ancestors. Even if they are not convinced, they must support it unconditionally. In fact, most of the Wang family did not understand Lao Zu's approach. The biggest mistake of the Yuan family sisters and brothers is that they were born in the world, not the family. If they are born into a wealthy family, they will be involved in interests, so that it can be convenient for them to control. Even if they were born in a big family, such as the Wang family, other families can jointly suppress them. The problem is that these two people are light pole commanders, their parents are dead, and their family lineage is clear and unscrupulous. The Yuan family sisters and brothers can unscrupulously attack the family. And the Saga alliance is not an iron barrel. Most of them are holding the selfish idea of dying Tago as friends and not dying in poor. Once something happens to the family, they basically watch the play with their chests held. If any family is destroyed, other families will immediately rush to divide your family's territory and property. Unless you can be as strong as the three major families, the Huangfu family, the Wang family, and the Yu family. The gods in the family are more numerous or powerful than the gods of the kingdom. The national government has been stationed outside the border to resist spirit beasts for hundreds of years, and many great generals have fallen, and their strength has long been incomparable. This leads to today's deformed social environment. Although the Saga alliance is now in full swing and holds the voice of the country. But an uncontrolled, unobedient genius is like a time bomb hanging over everyone's heads, and you don't know when you're going to suffer on you. Therefore, a genius who cannot be wooed and cannot do things for himself, once provoked, can only become an enemy. Don't solve it, wait for others to grow up and destroy themselves. After 3 years of hard work, Yuanjie has grown into a high-level combat power that cannot be ignored in the Great Xia dynasty. If you want to move her, if you can't kill in one hit, then be prepared to endure her endless revenge. An SSS-level spirit imperial lineage can quietly and secretly kill all of your low cultivators. The point is that you can't find the evidence, let alone where she is. Has Yuanjie dealt less blows to the family in recent years? The tragedy of the Jingchang family is still vividly remembered. After Huangfu Gongyan returned to the family residence, the more he thought about it while sitting on the main throne, the more angry he became. He angrily smashed the white jade-carved dragon chair under his butt, and he couldn't swallow this breath. Yuanjie, since I can't take you, then I'll deal with your brother. Taking advantage of the fact that Yuanjie has not yet grown up, their Huangfu family must start first. It is difficult to deal with a Yuanjie, if there is another Yuanjie. Huangfu family, absolutely not allow another rebel to appear. On the other side, Wang Reihua, the head of the Wang family, asked Lao Zu the doubts in his heart. Wang Badian said seriously, Reihua, let me ask you a question, will other families suppress their sisters and brothers? Wang Reihua replied without hesitation, it will definitely be, don't hide from the ancestor, I have already begun to formulate a plan for Yuanjie. Confused? You're confused? Wang Badian shook his head. Think about it, since most of the families plan to do it, then if we don't do it, will we be able to gain the favor of the Yuanjie sisters and brothers? Wang Ruhua's heart was shocked. Yes, it was okay to do the opposite. Wang Badian continued, moreover, isn't your daughter in the same class as Yuanjie? It is still an SS-level dual-element physique, and the talent is comparable to SSS-level, and it is not impossible for the two of them. Wang Ruhu immediately understood what Lao Zu meant, but he frowned and said, what if, we are raising tigers, people are not grass and trees, who can be ruthless, as long as we have helped them, they will definitely remember the old feelings, and the spearhead will not be pointed at our royal family. Wang Ruhu's eyes lit up. Lao Zu means, borrow a knife to kill? Wang Badian stroked the white whiskers and said, be cautious, be cautious. Then, the two looked at each other and smiled. Wang Ruhu returned to the room, and his mind echoed with Lao Zu's words just now. He said to himself, but now, most of the families hold a wait-and-see attitude, intending to win over, and it is difficult to deal with it. Yuanjie opened his eyes, kneeling on one knee underneath, and he handed her the storage spirit bag. The harvest was not bad. The Wang family? Kind of interesting. In Jianghu City, Principal Wang Gaozhen announced the resumption of the preliminary examination of the spiritual power exam next Monday. 5 days have passed since the last killing at the gate, and Yuanjie has returned to school. Ordinary secular students were in awe of him and avoided him when they saw him. They know that they and Yuanjie are not people in the same world. Yuanjie has the protection of a powerful sister and the protection of the head of the higher academy. And what about them? Nothing. They didn't even dare to communicate with Yuanjie a word, for fear of being seen by the family and then involved in disputes. Except for a few powerful people who will greet Yuanjie, everyone else is respectful and avoids. This product is the plague, who provokes who is unlucky. Yuanjie sighed to himself. The growth of geniuses has been lonely since ancient times. Fortunately, he still had Li Tiansha by his side. Xingjun walked up to him with a smile and looked at him. Your injury looks much better, Yuanjie replied respectfully. Teacher Z is concerned. First try, good cheers. Xingjun stood on tiptoe and wanted to pat him on the shoulder, but he didn't expect to reach it, so he had to pat his chest and encourage. As soon as Yuanjie dropped his seat, Wang Qing came over. When he felt the casual fifth order aura exuding from the other party, he couldn't help but be shocked. He originally thought that his cultivation speed was fast enough, but he didn't expect that there were people faster than him. Yuanjie asked her curiously, why did you upgrade so quickly? Wang Qing's lady brushed her bangs and said, I ate a lot of spirit beast crystals. Spirit beast crystallization, spirits with physique can absorb their energy and obtain spiritual power. It is an alternative cultivation experience potion, and the specific amount of spiritual power obtained varies from individual to individual. Spirit beast crystals are generally only available in families, and secular children can't buy them at all. The family was born at the starting line and is already far ahead of ordinary people. Some of the two chatted for a while, and finally, Wang Qing left a ring and ran away with a red face. Her little daughter's posture made countless licking dogs beat their chests. Secretly scold the way of heaven for being unfair. Why is the SSS-level physique not yourself? Damn it. They could only swallow the bitterness silently, not daring to speak indiscriminately. Yuanjie picked up the ring curiously, and a stream of information suddenly flooded into his mind. It turns out that this is a space ring. The space ring is very expensive, and the lowest price is 100,000 gold spirit coins. This gift is not precious. He leaned into the space ring and was surprised to find that there were spirit beast crystals lying quietly like a small mountain pile inside. Chapter 27. There were still 2 days left before the preliminary examination of the spiritual power exam, and the school was a cultural class, so Li Tiansha chose to train at home. She has Yuanjie's spirit General Milan protecting, so Yuanjie is not worried about her personal safety at all. After school, Yuanjie ran home excitedly. He can't use the spirit beast crystal, but Li Tiansha will definitely be able to use it. When he got home, he saw warm meals neatly arranged on the dining table. Then he walked into her room and saw her fall asleep with a slight frown. Bloodless lips, pale face full of fatigue. You must be tired, right? Shallow. Yuanjie gently brushed open the bangs that covered her eyelashes. Even though she was exhausted, she didn't forget to make dinner. Li Tiansha snorted, turned around, hugged his wrist, and put it under his cheek. Her willow eyebrows gradually soothed, and her skin like curdled skin could be broken, making him reluctant to leave. The tip of her nose shrugged and smashed her mouth, like a cute puppy. In this way, Yuanjie quietly watched her sleep for an hour. I hope this moment will be beautiful and eternal. Li Tiansha suddenly opened her eyes and looked at each other. She was stunned, and muttered, "When did you come back?" "Just came back." She got up with a slight blush on her cheeks and straightened her hair in a panic. "Let's go out to eat." She then found that she had been pillowing his hand for a long time, and the back of her hand was red. Li Tiansha let him go out, and Yuanjie obediently closed the door and warmed the meal. The meals she cooked were still so delicious that he couldn't help but add 2 more bowls. After eating and drinking, the two sat side by side on the sofa and watched TV. "Shallow, huh?" Li Tiansha tilted his head and looked at him suspiciously. "I have a good thing for you." After speaking, Yuanjie took out a spirit beast crystal and placed it on her thigh. Li Tiansha's eyes widened and he was surprised. "This is spirit beast crystallization?" "That's right," Yuanjie nodded. "Wow, where are you from? This thing is so expensive." "Someone else sent it." Li Tiansha looked at him suspiciously, and his face seemed to be written, "Are you robbing people?" Yuanjie is shameful. Is his image so unbearable? "I don't do this very often." He explained slightly. "Wang Qing gave it to me." When she heard this, she couldn't help but lower her head and whispered, "What she gave you, you give me to use. Will people be angry?" "Leave her alone, you use it first." Li Tiansha pouted and said. Yuanjie was helpless, so he had to absorb it in front of her. After absorbing a large number of spirit beast crystals, Yuanjie did not find any traces of rising power. "Strange, what's going on?" At this time, the system replied, "Host, you drink a bottle of cultivation experience potion and get 100 pieces of this thing. Of course you don't feel it, so it is." Yuanjie took out a spirit beast crystal and put it in front of Li Tiansha. "I'm done sucking, until you suck it." Li Tiansha was not polite, and with his eyes closed, he absorbed the huge spiritual power contained in the spirit beast crystal. She felt her exhaustion swept away. Not only that, but the cultivation on her body was visibly rising rapidly. She couldn't help but make strange noises. Heisei Ninth Order, she was overjoyed. "Good guy, is it so strong?" Yuanjie suspected that the piece he had just absorbed was fake. Immediately afterwards, she absorbed 10 more spirit beast crystals, and actually broke through again. I seem to be gradually united." Li Tian blushed lightly and said shyly. Is it difficult? Is this the benefit of the F-class physique?" "No, that group of family children have a lot of F-grade physique. Why don't people upgrade so quickly? The cultivation principle of this world is like this: the worse the physique, the faster the cultivation upgrade, but the upper limit of strength and realm is very low. For example, an F-level physique upgrade only requires a bucket of water, while an SSS-level upgrade requires filling the entire pond. Although people with high physique will have a much slower cultivation speed than people with low physique, the massive amount of spiritual power stored in the realm have no upper limit, which is incomparable with low physique. This will appear in the case of Yuanjie, and the SSS-level fusion realm strength can cross a big realm to kill the gods. Yuanjie was puzzled. However, he does not have any psychological imbalance in this regard. Why is it unbalanced? It's like the king of the suburbs running to the first district to play ranking, and even the river crabs in the first district can't be beaten. The world is fair, and God closes the door for you and opens a small window to breathe you through. In one night, Li Tiansha absorbed all the spirit beast crystals in the space ring, and suddenly upgraded to the 8th order of gradual convergence, which was very outrageous. He suddenly remembered a sentence Wang Qing had said: "The amount of spiritual power contained in the crystals varies from person to person." Good fellow, is Li Tiansha a legendary genius who absorbs spirit beast crystals? Originally, her cultivation was one step lower than him, but now she was a big rank higher. It seems that her low-level physique has been hammered. The low-level physique is upgraded greatly in the early stage, but it will not work in the middle stage, and it is likely to be permanently stuck in the gradual convergence realm, and it will never be able to take a step forward. However, Yuanjie found it strange that the number of spirit beast crystals she absorbed at each level was similar. This is completely unscientific. The difficulty of improving the asymptotic realm is several times more than that of the Heisei realm. Suddenly, He realized that Li Tiansha's F-grade physique didn't seem to be that simple. The first test will be opened in 2 days. There are more extraterritorial spirit beasts inside, and when the time comes, we must brush more monsters to collect more crystals. Yuanjie secretly made up his mind. The next day, Yuanjie was embarrassed to ask Wang Qing again for the spirit beast crystal, and he returned the space ring to her. Wang Qing's expression froze. This is the end of sucking? So fast. Spirit beast crystals are generally oxidized when exposed to air, and they cannot be stored for long when exposed to the outside. Moreover, he absorbed so much spiritual power at once. Was it really okay? Are you sure you won't die from an explosion? She checked his cultivation with a very strange expression. After absorbing 100 spirit beast crystals, how can it still be in the Heisei realm? Just move up the first order? She thought about it. People are SSS-level physiques, and they can't be treated with common sense. Wang Qing asked, do you still want it? Feeling that the tone was a little strange, he couldn't help but lower his head. Yuanjie was overjoyed. Could she still have a lot? If anything, sell it to me. I have money. I don't want money. You can ask for it. Not only Wang Qing blushed, but even Yuanjie felt that this sounded wrong. He said solemnly, I can't give money for nothing. Oh, Wang Qing ran away shyly. Once again, it caused the dissatisfaction of a large group of licking dogs in the class. I blanch. I can't stand it. What did this Harry say to the goddess? Why do you blush every time? Before school, Wang Qing handed Yuanjie a space ring again, which contained 100 spirit beast crystals. She didn't say how much. Yuanjie casually gave her 10,000 gold spirit coins. In fact, the quality of this batch of spirit beast crystals was much better than the previous one, and 10,000 gold spirit coins could only buy a fraction. Thank you, Yuanjie said to her solemnly. Wang Qing smiled. It's okay, no thanks, as long as it can help you. Yuanjie touched his head embarrassedly. After returning home, Yuanjie handed the spirit beast crystal to Li Tiansha and asked her to continue absorbing it. Strangely, her cultivation stagnated at the 9th order of gradual convergence. Absorbing 50 spirit beast crystals later, none of them had any effect. Could it be that it was absorbed too quickly before? Not digested yet? Li Tiansha also felt so. She returned to the room and increased the weight of her steps to 100 kilograms. Then he made a cheering gesture to himself in the mirror. Tomorrow is the exam. You must run 1,000 laps tonight. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 28. The increase in spiritual power level has also improved Li Tiansha's endurance a lot. In the past, she was tired to die with 10 kilograms running 1,000 laps, but now she bears 100 kilograms and 1,000 laps easily. This unprecedented pleasure made her, a cultivation maniac, excited. She can't meet her 1,000 lap goal anymore. If you can, sprint to your goal of lap 2,000. Li Tiansha took a towel to wipe his sweat, tied up his long hair and continued to train. While running, she passed by Yuanjie and saw him lying on the grass as always, closing his eyes. Li Tiansha did not disturb him. She knew that he only took occasional breaks and trained with her most of the time. She is very happy that someone can fight with her, so that her cultivation time is no longer lonely. Everyone from the desolate ancient academy hidden in the shadows kept observing the two. It's a pity. Training 20 hours a day, how good would it be if she wasn't F-class? Xingjian's face was full of embarrassment. She had been engaged in the education industry for so many years, and it was the first time she had seen such a hard-working child. However, the physique is innate, and the low-level physique is destined to determine the upper limit of her strength. Even though Li Tiansha had gradually reached the 9th order of the realm, Xingjian was still not optimistic that she could emerge in the retest. Different physiques, the depth of the spiritual power pool is different. Therefore, even if the spiritual power level of the high physique is relatively low, it can still burst out with terrifying combat power. For example, Yuanjie can kill more than 20 gradual convergence realm powerhouses of the Jin family and the Ning family at the same time in the case of the 7th order of Heisei, and this kind of battle result, even Xingjian, who is a grade A physique, cannot do it with the current strength of the 5th order of the fusion realm. Li Tiansha's F-grade physique is even less comparable. After secretly observing for most of the month, Yuanjie, under the supervision of Li Tiansha, gradually got rid of the character of Hanger Landing and began to train seriously. This is a good thing and a bad thing. Xingjun couldn't imagine that if the two of them weren't in the same academy. She raised her love for talent, and was thinking about whether to open a back door for Li Tiansha. Let's go. Xingjun left with everyone in a heavy heart. Yuanjie, the community where they live is not the only two of them. There were a lot of people in the neighborhood every day, and many people began to notice these two young people who spent a whole night on the playground. Boy, an old man with gray hair walked over in a tracksuit twisting his crotch. Yuanjie was formerly an otaku man, and he was originally an otaku in his previous life, so he didn't know the old man in front of him. Grandma is good. The old man actually didn't know what Yuanjie's name was, but he saw that he was a rare male and handsome, so he stepped forward to say hello. Regardless of your surname, I see that you have been training here for several days. You are students, right? Yuanjie nodded. Yes, we are studying in Jiangho No. 1 Middle School. Grandma Li's face was shocked. She didn't expect this young man to be in the same school as her granddaughter. She chuckled. Is it? Coincidentally, my granddaughter is also in Jiangho No. 1 Middle School. Do you know Liv? There are thousands of people in Jiangho No. 1 Middle School. Where does he know so much? If nothing else, just his classmates can't tell who is who now. Grandma Li didn't care. She leaned in and asked quietly, young man, do you have a girlfriend? Yuanjie touched his head and looked at Li Tiansha on the other side, and said embarrassedly, it's not a girlfriend yet. The old man misheard, thinking that the other party said that he did not have a girlfriend. She squeezed her eyebrows at him and said flatteringly, how about introducing my granddaughter to you? Grandma Li saw that Yuanjie did not respond, and said to herself, Alice, my precious granddaughter came home and excitedly told me all day that their school produced an SSS-level physique genius. How handsome that person looked. SSS-level physique. How can an ordinary family like us climb? So, I wanted to introduce you to her so that she could stop that unrealistic idea. Yuanjie pulled the corners of his mouth. How did it sound strange? By the way, young man, you are also in Jiangho No. 1 Middle School. You should know that genius, right? What's his name? I forgot. Yuanjie. Oh, yes, it seems to be called this. Grandma Li sighed. People are SSS-level physiques, or a man. They will definitely be robbed by the big family, and they won't be able to take the turn of our ordinary people. After Yuanjie heard this, he looked thoughtfully at Li Tiansha, who was doing stretching exercises in the distance. I wonder if she also has this kind of psychology? That's why I keep my distance from myself. Grandma Li opened the chatterbox and told Yuanjie a lot about their family. Liv's father was captured in the early years and died in the war, and her mother died a few months ago, leaving only her and her granddaughter in the family. It's a pity that Liv detected an F-grade physique and is an ordinary person. If nothing else, Liv's future life path is clear at a glance. If you are lucky, you can marry into a family with your posture, and although you live without dignity, you can live worry-free from now on. If you are unlucky, you will start a family with a man with an ordinary physique or no physique, and work hard for a lifetime to survive. If you are unlucky, you will never marry and grow old alone. Liv is the epitome of ordinary women in the Great Xia Kingdom, and it cannot be said that it is unfortunate, because most people's lives are this template. Yuanjie sighed. This world, due to the change of the rules of heaven and earth, it is too difficult to give birth to a boy. The 2 billion people of the Great Xia Kingdom, the ratio of men to women is 120, and more than 1 billion women become leftover women every year, which is even more exaggerated than the 30 million singles in the previous life. In order to marry off, women even willingly pay exaggerated huge bride price, buy a house, buy a car, and write the man's name. Because of this, it is difficult for ordinary people to get ahead, and high-quality men and women have been picked up by wealthy families. Most importantly, this is an era of Reiki revival, not that you can get ahead if you do well in school. Li Tiansha is a clear example. When her physique is not tested, she is the much-anticipated school flower, not only good-looking, but also the first in the city in academic performance all year round. Once upon a time, her licking dog could circle around Ganghwa City. But now, licking dogs have disappeared. And they have all licked high-profile women instead. Because if both parents are high constitution, it is easy to combine to give birth to high physical children. The so-called positive is positive, positive and negative are negative. How beautiful is Li Tiansha? The most important thing in this world is beauty. Yuanjie is the opposite example. He used to mess around in school all day, sleep in class, sleep in exams, and I don't know if he went to be a thief at night or what he did. He always had endless sleep. Before that, he had no other strengths than the pleasure of being able to go in and out. No one would like a man who doesn't want to make progress all day. But since awakening the SSS-level physique, his classmates have been impressed by him. The original bad habits were understood by everyone, and even thought that this is what a genius should look like. In the past, I only received a few love letters, but now I receive hundreds of them every day, and many women secretly stuff benefits. Even the teacher turned a deaf ear to his actions. As long as he didn't do anything unspeakable to them, he did whatever he wanted. However, if Yuanjie has to do it, it is not impossible, and he should dedicate himself to the cause of education. At this time, a gentle and crisp voice like a sparrow interrupted the conversation between Yuanjie and the old man. "Grandma, it's late at night, it's time to go home." "Huh? Yuanjie? Why are you here?" Chapter 29. It was Grandma Li's granddaughter, Liv. She was pleasantly surprised to find that the male god she had a crush on was here, and she was chatting hotly with her grandmother. Grandma Li smiled and introduced to Yuanjie, "Young man, this is my granddaughter, Liv. Do you know each other?" Liv Qiao blushed and twisted. "Grandma, I know him, he is the boy I often mention to you." Yuanjie looked at her slightly. She looked petite and cute, the kind of legal lolly. In the entire Jianghu No. 1 middle school, there are 3,000 girls, and it is indeed extraordinary to be rated as one of the top 10 beauties. Grandma Li suddenly remembered something. She blocked between the two, frowned and asked her granddaughter, "Xiaofu, what did you just call him?" "Yuanjie." Liv didn't understand why Grandma was unconscious. Let's go home." Grandma Li dragged Liv's little hand and forgot to say goodbye. After Yuanjie saw the two leave, he shook his head with a wry smile, put down his mood and ran side by side with Li Tiansha. Li Tiansha asked curiously, "Liv also lives in this community, it should be." Yuanjie asked curiously, "You know her?" Li Tian gave him a simple look. "You forgot? She used to be in the same class as us, but then the group transferred and she was transferred." "Oh, I was very impressed with her. When you messed around all day, there were still people who liked it." Li Tiansha sneered. "Before, I seem to have helped her stuff a few love letters for you." Yuanjie recalled that among the few love letters, it seemed that the name Lifu was used. There are many memories left by the predecessor, and he will choose not to look at the generally irrelevant memories. Seeing his dazed look, Li Tiansha asked curiously, "Don't you like her? She is one of the top 10 beauties in our middle school." Yuanjie shook his head and replied, "I don't like it, it's too small." "So what type do you like?" Yuanjie ran in front of her, looked at her seriously, and said, "I like you like this." Li Tiansha stopped, looked down at the shoes, and whispered, "I'm also small, how can you like me? What I don't care about, you can cultivate it the day after tomorrow." Yuanjie chuckled. "Train you to be a big-headed ghost." She raised her little pink fist, and jumped up to be a popper. "I'm a good buddy you've played with since you were a child, don't you like me?" Yuanjie hugged her and said affectionately, "Buddy, I like it too." Li Tian's light red face pushed him away in a panic. "When I come to Jingchang in the future, I must snitch on Sister Yuanjie, say you secretly like me without my consent." Liv didn't understand why Grandma suddenly pulled herself away and went upstairs before Grandma let go of her. Grandma Li solemnly told her, "Promise me not to like that boy in the future." "Why? He is an SSS-level physique, and Grandma knows that excellent boys are very much loved. You're just F-ranked, and you two aren't people of the same world at all." "But I liked him when he wasn't a genius." Liv blushed. She herself understood, but she couldn't contain her feelings. "Alice, it's different now," Grandma Li said seriously. "In the future, he will marry a woman from a family with excellent talent, and he will soar from then on. And you, one has no family lineage, and the other has no talent, you two will not have a future." "I don't care. I can marry his concubine." Grandma Li sighed. "I'm afraid you don't even have the opportunity to be his concubine. As long as I can be his woman, whatever I am asked to do, even if it's death," Liv said stubbornly. Grandma Li stroked her granddaughter's head and rubbed her hair, feeling distressed. It was his own lack of ability that made his favorite granddaughter wronged. Grandma Li said softly, "Child, when people die, there's nothing, you think about your parents. If you're really together, the enemy he will face in the future must be very strong, and you with low strength can only drag him back, and you will not be happy. He's a blazing and fierce flame. Silly child, don't be obsessed with being that moth. Well, listen to grandma and forget about him. Liv looked down and sobbed, bean-sized tears dripping down her cheeks and gradually soaking the ground. She nodded heavily, and tears spilled onto her clothes, which quickly disappeared. At 4 o'clock in the morning, Yuanjie kicked off the quilt and slept in a large position. Li Tiansha knew that this product would kick the quilt in the middle of the night, so she would usually get up at 3 or 4 o'clock to go to the toilet, and by the way she would go into his room to help him cover the quilt. It's really not worrying, such an adult still kicks the quilt. She frowned and pulled the quilt up and helped him cover it. After doing all this, she gently covered the door and lefting. The limited time gift package is opened. Please pay attention to the host's rush purchase, limited to 3 hours. Yuanjie was awakened by the sudden system prompt, and he sat up with a snort. Divine Horse? Do you still have a limited time package? He looked at the alarm clock next to the bed with his eyes half open, and couldn't help but scold. Your sister's dog system, how many meanings do you mean to come to the limited time gift package in the middle of the night? Scolding and scolding, the body is very honest, you still have to buy what you should buy. Yuanjie lay down again, clicked on the system panel, and sure enough saw the limited time gift package in an inconspicuous place. The price is 10,000 gold spirit coins, why don't you grab it? Although he was disgusted in his mouth, he still honestly clicked to buy. Congratulations on obtaining a self-selected divine skill chest and 100 bottles of cultivation experience potion. I blanch. Yuanjie was stunned, and he was suddenly not sleepy. 100 bottles of cultivation experience potion should be enough for him to upgrade to the gradual convergence realm, right? This wave is not a loss. You know, 10,000 gold spirit coins can buy dozens of ground-level spirit beast crystals, which is not comparable to 1 bottle of cultivation experience potion. He first put aside the 100 bottles of cultivation experience potions and checked the treasure chest of his chosen divine technique. He noticed that this treasure chest did not have the word leapfrogging, and there must be something strange: curse division, death division, blood, yogi no jutsu, hyaku heo no jutsu, reish, dirt rebirth, ghoul seal, hyakuji exercise, spiral pill, water moon dance art, Mudun, immortal law, flying thunder god. I blanch. I blanch. I blanch. Shocked my mother for 10,000 years. It's all S-grade ninjutsu. And it's ninjutsu that doesn't belong to the skills that come with White Eye and Sharingan. 2 just because Byakugan. Big brother system, can I ask for it all? Yuanjie said resentfully, so many super ninjutsu are too entangled. I'm not a big brother. I'm big D cute girl. Big sister. The system held back his emotions and ignored his call. System, when will this limited time gift package be swiped out? Once a month. The time is uncertain, and the gift package props are uncertain. Yuanjie sighed. Once a month, that's a pity. What ninjutsu is good to choose? Chapter 30. Yuanjie touched his head, and there was no thought for a while. I had to use elimination. First of all, the death division must be ruled out first with blood, who has nothing to do self-harm. He is not shaking again. Yagi no jutsu is very strong, just a little disgusting, slightly. Although the art of reish, hyakuji exercise and Mizuki dance is quite strong, it is obviously not enough compared to other ninjutsu. Dirt rebirth is not practical at present. Can you summon the dead parents to come out to see the cheerleaders? Taken together, only Beiheo's art, Mudun, immortal law, and flying thunder god are the best choices. Among them, the 100 Howard and immortal law are state skills. One is self-healing, and the other is endurance plus enchantment. But Yuanjie now uses more Sharingan. He is a long-range mage, and he hardly uses the art of Beiheo, and it is very good if he can give Li Tiansha. The immortal method is very good, allowing him to use big moves such as the Earth Explosion Sky Star many times, and it can bless the skill with special attack power, making it more damaged. Immortal law is the same as Mudun, and Yuanjie is worried that if such a big move as Mingshinman and Zhen Thousand Hands needs another skilled book to learn to use, it will hurt. Moreover, with his current spiritual power, he simply could not exert the strongest combat power of the two. He didn't dare to bet. He knew the urine nature of the system, just like buying skin and dazzling. There may be many unpredictable dangers in the secret realm, and what he lacks the most is the means to save his life, and the comprehensive best choice is the Flying Thunder God. The most important thing is that Flying Thunder God is handsome enough. It doesn't consume much spiritual power. Ding. Congratulations on learning the divine skill, Flying Thunder God Technique, Flying Thunder God Art LV1, leave the Flying Thunder God mark on the target to teleport. Number of imprints. 5, teleportation range. 10 kilometers. Strong, the first level can have such a powerful effect. If the level is full, then isn't it going against the sky? Yuanjie rubbed his hands excitedly, clicked on the skill enhancement panel, and was about to click on the enhancement, but found that he actually displayed 1000 gold spirit coins to click. I'm blanching, do you want to be so pitted by the system? Shinra Xianzheng and Vientian Xian'an only need 100 gold spirit coins to strengthen once. Why does the Flying Thunder God need 1000 gold spirit coins? Yuanjie is angry. Is this not clear about pit money? The system transformed into human form and glared at him with disdain. Shenluo Xianzheng and Vientian Xian'an are both self-selected leapfrog divine skills. This Flying Thunder God is a self-selected divine skill, not a self-selected divine skill, not a skill that comes with eyes. There is a difference between the two. That makes sense, right? Yuanjie was stunned and speechless, and he suddenly thought of a terrible thing. Could it be said that after choosing a divine skill, you will have to strengthen it once with 1000 gold spirit coins? Fortunately, he still has 60,000 gold spirit coins left in his pocket, but he can waive it. So, Yuanjie spent 20,000 gold spirit coins and finally plus 8 the Flying Thunder God, and he didn't dare to order it anymore, a little afraid that the failure level would fall back. Flying Thunder God Art LV8, leave the Flying Thunder God mark on the target to teleport. Number of imprints. 30, teleportation range. 100 kilometers. At present, the level 8 skill attribute is completely sufficient. He had to keep some money. What if there would be any weird gift bags in the future? Go on, don't be intimidated. Strengthen plus 10 to change the dazzling light effect. The system seduced him. Yuanjie replied, you know what, this is called saving food and thrift. He closed the skill enhancement panel, opened the system backpack, and took out 100 bottles of cultivation experience potions. He filled 100 bottles in a row and burped contentedly. Good, with a little experience left, you can upgrade to the gradual convergence realm. This wave of improvement is great. If there is no system, he doesn't know how long he has to train hard to reach the 9th order of Heisei. The next morning, Yuanjie was reluctantly kicked out of bed by Li Tiansha and circled with black eyes. I find that you always lie in bed at critical moments. What's the matter with you? Li Tiansha is very angry. Today is the day of the first test of the spiritual power exam. Yuanjie yawned and ate his breakfast listlessly. Today Li Tiansha made all kinds of buns, did not cook porridge. If you ingest too much water, it will be embarrassing to wait for convenience in the secret realm. After eating and drinking, the two took a small Pegasus to Jianghu No. 1 Middle School. Originally, they had always walked over, but Li Tiansha saw that Yuanjie had no spirit, so he broke the sky and had a luxury. After arriving at the classroom, Yuanjie pressed one hand behind the door and secretly carved a Flying Thunder God mark. Sort of patience and love. At the same time, he slapped Li Tiansha's back, causing her to roll her eyes. What are you doing? It's okay, I just want to touch you, shameless. Indecent. Yuanjie narrowed his eyes and once again confirmed whether the sort of patience and love had been clearly printed on Li Tian's light clothes. After the morning reading, the bell rang for the first class, and Yuanjie slept on the table as always. At this time, the head teacher came over. She stood on the podium, and first looked around. Finding that Yuanjie was actually sleeping, she coughed hard twice. Classmate Li Tiansha, please wake up Yuanjie. As soon as these words came out, the eyes of the whole class moved to that side. Abominable. Even if you are an SSS-level genius, you don't have to be so careless, right? I'm so nervous that he's still sleeping. This is a practical exam, not a liberal arts exam. Wait until they are the last in the group to be hilarious. I feel sorry for my family's goddess of ice and fire for a second, and it's really ruined to team up with this goods. Yuanjie was hurt by Li Tiansha's pen poke, and he raised his head in confusion and opened his eyes. The head teacher is a senior teacher from Jingcheng. Usually Yuanjie sleeps, but today is such an important day to sleep. What a child's play. How did you sleep? Your age? Do you sleep at this stage? It's a bit out of the blue. Yuanjie was reprimanded, and his brain woke up for half a minute. Li Weiming put away his mobile phone with satisfaction, and he said with a smile, "Old class, your teachings just now are really exciting. I decided to turn what you just said into an alarm clock to keep yourself alert. Yuanjie was stunned. I am a talent, why didn't he think of this trick? Brother Ming. Send me. Fast. The head teacher frowned and saw that the group of students below were crazy. Quiet, she patted the podium. Next, let me read out the rules for judging the exam. First, absolutely not to be angry. Second, never miss a single bad thing. Third, the absolute referee's fairness and beauty. Students, there are crystal balls shooting everywhere in the secret realm. I hope you don't do such a bad thing as cannibalism, and you must ensure your own safety as the premise. Remember, don't get angry. The preliminary examination of the spiritual power examination is a national joint examination, and all students in the country who are eligible to participate will enter the same secret realm. The content of the exam is simple. Within 1 day, kill out-of-domain spirit beasts to earn points. The standings are calculated together across the country. Okay, your HUD teacher must have told you what you should say, so I won't say more. Wang Gaozhen stood on the flag-raising platform in the playground and watched the large group of senior students below. I wish everyone a successful first test. In the corner where no one was looking, someone exchanged glances at the teleportation mentor. P.S. Explain the physical problem a little. The higher the physique, the larger the spiritual power pool. For example, the spiritual power pool of the same level SSS-level physique is equal to 1,000 times larger than the SS-level physique when keying, and the SS-level physique is only 10 times larger than the S-level physique, and the difference between one word is the gap between heaven and earth. The higher the physique, the more spiritual power can be stored, which can be seen as the difference between Naruto and Kakashi. Since the spiritual power pool is so large, the difficulty of cultivation must be much greater than that of others. You want to have high combat power, and you want to cultivate faster than others. How can there be such a good thing? However, Brother G has a system, and there is no need to worry about his cultivation speed later. It's just that at present, Li Tiansha, who has an F-level physique, is faster than Ji Jie with an SSS-level physique in the previous stage, and the upgrade speed is faster. I think it's fair, right? With the same amount of spiritual power, it can fill more than a dozen buckets of water, but it is difficult to fill a swimming pool. So it is more difficult for Brother G to upgrade than the average person. But in a water war, the pool has much more water than a dozen buckets of water, probably for this reason. Chapter 31. Yuanjie, Heisei 9th Order, can enter Li Tiansha, gradually close to the 9th Order, can enter Wang Qing, gradually close to the 6th Order, can enter. Before entering the secret realm, each student needs to pass through a spiritual scanning door. The spiritual power exam first examination secret realm only allows the highest gradual convergence realm strength to enter, and if it exceeds the gradual convergence realm, you cannot be allowed to enter. The first is to avoid too large a gap in spiritual power levels between students. The second is to prevent masters from mixing in to commit murder. Yuanjie's group was the third group to enter, and when the three of them stood in unison at the spiritual power scanning door, they immediately caused an exclamation. Wow, Yuanjie's upgrade is so fast. Before awakening his physique, he hadn't even reached the Heisei realm, and he had risen to the 9th Order in half a month. Sketchy. The goddess of ice and fire is also very strong. She transferred with me. We were both gradually 2nd Order, and as a result, she was already 6th Order, and I was still 2nd Order. You also don't look at what strength the Wang family is, which we can compare. No, didn't you all notice that F-grade physique Li Tiansha? How could she gradually merge into the 9th Order? So outrageous. The lower the physique, the faster the upgrade. Normal, you are really rare and strange. The problem is, she is just a commoner, whereas the inexhaustible cultivation resources as the big family. Even in a large family, the F-grade physique can't gradually merge into the 9th Order in half a month, right? Ah, that's what you said. The scene in front of the three changed instantly, and they were teleported to a desolate place. The air here is a little murky, mixed with a faint smell of blood. The sky was stained red with blood, and there were several tearing cracks in the sky, and a little starlight oozed from the cracks, as if crying about the story that had happened. At a glance, it is all devastated and full of sadness. Wang Qing had just noticed Li Tiansha's cultivation, and she glanced at the other party strangely. She wasn't sure why Li Tiansha had upgraded so quickly, but she had a faint guess in her heart. After Yuanjie entered the secret realm, his sleepiness was swept away, and he looked around in confusion, not knowing where to go. The place we teleported to seems to be a bit far from the beast hunting area. Wang Qing's eyebrows twisted together. Which way should that go? Wait a minute. Wang Qing opened the space ring, waved his right hand, and a point of light spread, which was actually a map. She took out another compass and circled left and right to determine their position. We should be here now, and the closest way to the beast hunting area is to go east. Wang Qing confirmed it several times before looking at Yuanjie and saying. Yuanjie asked her, how far is it? 50 kilometers, Wang Qing said helplessly. Our luck is not very good. The secret teleportation should be random, but we are random. It takes half a day to rush. Okay, do you have any Lingbao that can fly automatically, or, can you fly? Wang Qing couldn't understand what he meant. Yuanjie patiently explained again, and she fell into deep thought. After thinking for a while, she simply threw out the items she brought in this time. I don't have a flying spirit treasure. But I have ice and fire wings and can fly. How high can you fly? Just 10 meters. Wang Qing blushed and said shyly. Then forget it, lend me this dagger. It's okay, I gave it to you. Seeing that it took his own things, Wang Qing was very happy in her heart. Yuanjie held the handle of the dagger in his right hand and carved a sort of patience on it. 8 doors done. Jia, Shengman. Open. His hair was windless and green steam was bubbling around his body. Huh? Wang Qing stood closest, and she could clearly sense the powerful spiritual power erupting from his body. This is Reiki incarnation? Li Tiansha's eyes burned. Although she had learned 8 doors of Dunjia, it was the first time she had seen more than 3 doors open. It's much more handsome than opening the door and closing the door. Suddenly, Yuanjie's figure disappeared instantly, leaving a golden flash. He first threw the dagger into the air hard, and then the flying thunder god teleported into the air and threw it vigorously forward. Yuanjie used the imprint inscribed behind Li Tiansha to return behind the two again. Hold me tight. Without waiting for them to slow down, the three suddenly flashed 1,000 meters away. This is, Wang Qing was shocked. How could he be thousands of meters away in the blink of an eye? Li Tiansha's heart was even more shocked. She had never seen Yuanjie use this trick. She only knew that he had a move that could move quickly, and he usually skipped class and ran away. Flashed a little faster. After Yuanjie threw his dagger in the air, he waited on the ground for a while. Flashed several times in a row, and the two women were a little motion sick. Brother G, what is your trick? Flying Thunder God technique. Good domineering move names. In general, skills with the word God are not simple. Hold me, I'm going to fly you again. Oh, Wang Qing screamed excitedly. This feeling was so exciting, she experienced it for the first time. In the playground, all the students have entered the secret realm, and the leaders and teachers of the major colleges open the crystal ball to check the situation in each area. What, did you just see a light? I didn't see it clearly. It flashed, and it was gone in the blink of an eye. Could it be that a high-level spirit beast ran out of the secret realm? Xingjun frowned. She ordered the personnel to play it back in slow motion, and finally saw what the mysterious light was. It turned out to be Yuanjie them. Everyone was shocked, a trick they had never seen before. I blanch, what the hell is this skill? Too fast. Dao Man, who has always been a lady, couldn't help but burst into a national essence. What's more than fast? The moving distance is also very exaggerated. 10,000 meters away, instant shuttle, simply reach the realm of teleportation. Is there a possibility that this is teleportation? The various monitoring pictures projected by the crystal ball, a golden light flashed inside, and the picture was extremely shocking. Xingjun became more and more interested in Yuanjie, a prospective college student of the desolate ancient academy. The stronger he was, the happier she was. 50 kilometers, Yuanjie threw and threw so repeatedly. It only took just 3 minutes to reach the periphery of the hunting area. The two women were still unfinished, and Yuanjie closed the state of the birth door. He just opened the door mainly to increase the power of throwing, and it turned out to be good. Seeing the expressions of the two women, he asked strangely, do you want to experience it again? Wang Qing and Li Tian nodded heavily. Yuanjie sighed, stuck the dagger on the ground, and then picked up the two women and flashed back to the place where they had just teleported. This scene was noticed by the teachers outside. Xingjun instructed them to enlarge the two lenses. Do you calculate how many meters are the distance between these two places, Yuanjie? They just returned to the starting point, and there was a scream next to them. When it was clear that it was Yuanjie, Liv patted his small chest in fear. Are you going to the beast hunting area too? Well, how far is it? Liv did not dare to look at his face. She was afraid that the old relationship would return. 50 kilometers. Hearing Yuanjie's answer, their little faces turned pale. They may not be able to walk 50 kilometers for a day. Won't they have to be 0 points out at that time? Don't panic. I can take you flying. Do you want to get in the car? Chapter 32. Since the genius brother said that he had a way, of course, the three of Liv's team agreed unconditionally. Yuanjie first sent Wang Qing and Li Tiansha back, and returned again a second later. Liv was shocked to find that only Yuanjie came back, and what about the other two female classmates? Outside the playground, Xingjun got a report from his subordinates, 50 kilometers away from the 2 o'clock, and was just about to blink, when suddenly a golden flash disappeared into the right screen and flashed to the left screen. Ding, this is 50 kilometers, I think. The master of the Great Evening Realm is afraid that he can't do the second transmission, right? Xingjun opened his cherry little mouth, and his heart could not be calmed down for a long time. When she came back to her senses, Yuanjie went back to the starting point. Which of you comes first? Yuanjie saw that their cultivation was low, and the average level was only the level of the first and second orders of Heisei, and he was afraid of any accidents if he took two at a time. Liv pushed the girlfriend next to him. Xiao you go first. Yuanjie squatted down. Xiao immediately lay on his back, and suddenly a dazzling golden flash, both of them disappeared. Next, Yuanjie came back, and he crouched down. Xiao nervously lay on his back, and after a scream, disappeared into Liv's eyes again. Yuanjie returned, and before he could speak, a petite body jumped up and hung on him. Hold tight. Liv wrapped her legs tightly around his waist, wrapped her arms around his body, and buried her face in his arms. She closed her eyes, and after a gust of wind, she only heard a gentle voice calling, "It's here, come down." She reluctantly left his embrace, looking stunned. After Yuanjie sent the Liv team to the periphery, he reopened the raw door, and the domineering image was deeply imprinted in the hearts of Liv. Let's go first, you guys just brush the mobs on the periphery. After speaking, after two golden flashes, he held the two women out of their sight. Xiao's eyes burst with love. Xiaofu, Yuanjie is too handsome, what should I do? I feel like I'm going to be your rival. Xiaoqi nodded and agreed, the smell on his body smells so good, I like it so much. Liv lowered his head and said in dismay, you are not my love enemy. I have no love enemy. I don't deserve to like him. I've always been my affectionate. Where did my love rival come from? After a long journey, Yuanjie's group finally came to a position close to the circle of the hunting area. The level of extraterritorial spirit beasts here is relatively high. Let's start working. Good. Li Tiansha instantly exploded. 8 doors Dunjia. Shingman. Open. Unlike Yuanjie, the long black hair she held up was actually dyed blonde. The hair loop was automatically undone, and her silky blonde hair was draped vertically over her shoulders. At the same time, her eyes also shone with a golden light. She was covered in green steam and rose into the air, like a goddess of war. I blanch? How is the shallow 8 doors different from mine? Yuanjie was stunned. This form, the god is like a Super Saiyan. Is it? The reason for her physique? So it caused the 8 doors of Dunjia to mutate? Yuanjie thought so, because in the Naruto anime, there has never been a female ninja who has opened the 8-door Dunjia, and there is no way to study it. Wang Qing was shocked to find that the skills used by these two people were the same. She originally thought that the 8 gates of Dunjia art was brought by Yuanjie's strange eyes, but she didn't expect that Li Tiansha would too. What are their hidden secrets? The three of them acted separately, and Wang Qing was surprised to find that Li Tiansha's combat power was not inferior to himself in the slightest. This scene was also captured by the teachers in the playground. Dao Man said with a smile, Xingjun, maybe this girl really has a chance to attend your desolate ancient academy. No one expected that the strongest dark horse in this initial examination turned out to be a student with an F-grade physique. Li Tiansha's attack method was very simple and violent, and he rushed up to punch and kick an extraterritorial spirit beast. Almost no spirit beast could withstand her punches. And the shot speed is extremely fast, even the shadow cannot be seen clearly. However, this is just an extraterritorial spirit beast of the gradual convergence realm. As we all know, low-level extraterritorial spirit beasts will only rush recklessly, and those who are slightly injured can be killed. Li Tiansha's amazing combat power erupted, and the more Yuanjie looked at it, the more afraid he became, and he also found an incredible thing. It seems that the shallowness after opening the 8 doors, the scale in front of Shrong seems to be majestic for a few circles. Is it my illusion? Obediently, is there even such a change in opening the 8 doors? After that, wouldn't it be? Yuanjie began to be ape-hearted. The 3 played for half an hour, and the points were only more than 1,000. The killing score of a spirit beast outside the gradual convergence realm is 10 points, that is, 3 people killed about 100 in half an hour. At this time, Li Tiansha was a little overwhelmed by maintaining the state of transformation for a long time. After all, she is only an F-grade physique, the spiritual power pool is not deep enough, and her physical fitness is not very good. Several times she went into danger, and it was Yuanjie who used the Flying Thunder God to save her. Take a break, shallow, Yuanjie hugged her distressedly. Li Tiansha weakly broke free from his embrace, trying to stabilize his figure. No, I can play all day. As soon as she finished saying this, she fell to the ground. In fact, with her current strength, there is no need to open 3 doors to fight monsters, and it is enough to close the door. But this person is very persistent, she just wants to drive herself into a corner. It was Li Tiansha's spirit of not admitting defeat that moved Wen Qiang. Yuanjie quickly picked her up and took out a bottle of recovery potion from the system backpack and poured it into her mouth. Miss Wang, let's change the way of brushing monsters, this is too inefficient. Wang Qiang stopped the knife mark in his hand and flew to his side. In a moment, I use the Vientian Heavenly Introduction to track all the monsters in front of me, and you use the strongest killing move to kill in 1 second. Wang Qiang was stunned. Can he still play like this? Yuanjie sat down and held Li Tiansha in his arms. He stretched out his left hand, ready at any time. Wang Qiang burst out the strongest combat power, and she condensed a wall of ice that covered the sky. I'm ready, okay, Yuanjie nodded. He closed his eyes to sense the surrounding targets, and then, opening his scarlet right eye, the 3-hooked jade in his pupils was spinning wildly. Vientian Heavenly Introduction, his left hand condensed into a black ball, and all the extraterrestrial spirit beasts within a radius of 10 kilometers flew in the same direction involuntarily at almost the same time. The extraterrestrial spirit beasts struggled desperately, and some even inserted their claws into the dirt in an attempt to get rid of the strong attraction. But doing so is doomed to be futile. Boom! Countless extraterrestrial spirit beasts collided together, right under the ice wall. Seeing this, Wang Qiang pressed down with her right hand. The wall of ice fell in response. Countless blood splattered everywhere, and the scene was out of control for a while. Shinra Tenzhen, Spicy Sky Plug. Yuanjie used the Shenluo Shinzhen to eject the body fragments of the extraterrestrial spirit beast that sputtered over. Li Tiansha just recovered, and when she opened her eyes, she saw such a terrifying scene, and her little face turned pale. She is not afraid, she is fearful. So, is this the real strength of Brother Ji? She lowered her head with a bleak gaze. It turned out that she had always been a drag oil bottle, and she had never changed. 3 kilometers away, Li Weiming and his party were working together to kill the spirit beasts outside the domain, and suddenly, the spirit beasts disappeared. I'm so blanched. Can anyone tell me what's going on? The cooked spirit beast actually flew by itself? Chapter 33. The strength of Li Weiming's group is not low, and he summoned 2 S-class companions to team up to brush monsters. Originally, they used all their strength to attack an extraterrestrial spirit beast of the fusion realm, and they saw that they were about to kill. As a result, the spirit beast flew? Who is not uncomfortable with this? Li Weiming gritted his teeth and scolded hatefully, which dog cub is it, dare to grab food? So, the 3 of them ran towards the direction where the extraterrestrial spirit beast flew away. In the Great Xia Kingdom, high schools across the country are simultaneously conducting the preliminary examination of the spiritual power examination. At this time, all the invigilators suddenly found that there was a group of points that rose very quickly. More than 3,000 points are added almost every minute. Someone on the hook, Su Ning, the principal of Bali Middle School in Jingcheng, frowned and asked. As the capital of the Great Xia Kingdom, Jingcheng has countless families, and the threshold for being able to attend Bali Middle School is the A-grade physique, and everyone here is the pride of heaven. Su Ning attached great importance to this initial test. Originally, before this, she had personally gone to Jianghu City to find Yuanjie, hoping that the other party could transfer to Bali. As a result, Yuanjie's request could not be accepted by her and broke up unhappily. Just kidding, how can the garbage F-grade physique be matched into our Bali middle school? There are no doors. Before the exam began, she had expected that the strongest competitor in this exam would definitely be that SSS-level genius. Therefore, she compulsorily brought together 3 groups of SS-level geniuses to hit the top 3 in the preliminary standings. Bali Middle School has been the champion for 20 consecutive years, and Suning will never allow the champion to be ruined when he is in power. She valued this first test more than anyone. Report to the principal. It is SSS-level Physical Imperial Department Yuanjie, SS-level Royal Department Wang Qing, and F-level Physical Imperial Department Li Tiansha Group. What? Double gods with a pit? How can such excellent results be achieved? Suning immediately asked to open the playback, and when they finished watching the playback, they gasped for air. What kind of exercise is this? So overbearing? It was actually able to forcibly gather all the extraterritorial spirit beasts together. Suning was shocked. The vice principal next to him said in a deep voice, according to intelligence, it should be the skills that come with the eyes of Yuanjie. It's really worthy of SSS-level physique enhancement eyes, and the perverted point is reasonable. However, the efficiency of Yuanjie's group is too high, and it is not a way to go on like this. Can't let him brush down like this. With a gloomy face, Suning picked up the communication spirit stone and communicated with one of the groups in the secret realm. Huangfuking, your group immediately dropped all actions and immediately went to the exit of Yuba in Falling Stone Town to pull that group of people. Huangfuking's Hang was killing righteously, and suddenly received this notice, and his heart was displeased. But this is the principal's order, and she can only carry it out. For a long time, Bali Middle School controlled a special way to contact the students of the secret realm. And the school leaders often reported points outside, such as where there were more extraterritorial spirit beasts or something. Therefore, it is equivalent to opening the Bali Middle School with perspective hanging. Naturally, he has been champion for 20 consecutive years. Huangfukiu opened the map navigation, and the 3 of them sat on the back of a snow-white wolf king. She gently patted the wolf king's head and said softly, "Garu beast, please." The wolf king roared into the sky, made a deafening sound, and then pulled out his legs and ran. Brother Ming, it's Yuanjie them. The 3 of Li Weiming's group were all S-level or above physical imperial powerhouses, and one of them, Wang Ke, who had strengthened his feet, could run back from the front. Yuanjie, Li Weiming couldn't help but shake the tiger's body, and he remembered what happened that day. He panicked, and suddenly he didn't want to pass. However, he can't lose face in front of his younger brother. When the 3 arrived, the 3 of Yuanjie stood side by side, one sucking and one sitting and the other licking the bag, and the cooperation was not tacit. Wang Qing does not regret teaming up with Yuanjie. His means are extremely clever, and she experienced the pleasure of this kind of quick brush for the first time. Almost effortlessly, he easily achieved tens of thousands of points. The absorption range of Yuanjie has gradually expanded, and it has now reached a radius of 50 kilometers. Even some of the spirit beasts outside the fusion realm that ran out of the inner circle were also forcibly absorbed, and with Wang Qing's ice and fire 2 heavens alone, if he couldn't kill him, Yuanjie would use the Shinluo heavenly signification replenishing knife. Yuanjie, you sauce purple is too much. When Li Weiming arrived, his expression was very strange. Originally, he wanted to be fierce and domineering, but when he saw the face that often appeared in nightmares, he wilted. Zhao Paste was even more afraid than Li Weiming. Wang Qing is Wang Qing's cousin, he has not suffered the loss of Yuanjie, and he prides himself on being extraordinary. Yuanjie, I warn you, if we fish so hard again, we will be angry. The children of the family usually have an inexplicable sense of superiority, and Wang Qing is such a person. Wang Qing looked at him and said lightly, "Cousin, you go back early, the water of the secret realm is too deep, I am afraid that you will not be able to grasp it." Wang Ke was not a villain, so without saying much, he pulled out a 20-centimeter long knife from the space ring and directly pulled out the knife and rushed over. Yuanjie didn't turn his head, as if he didn't see his movements. In fact, Yuanjie has been observing with white eyes, waiting until the long knife is about to fall. Someone was so scared that he almost fell to his knees. "Keep someone under the knife," Zhao Wang begged for mercy with a sad face. "Brother Wang, it's me." He didn't know why he suddenly flashed behind Yuanjie, and seeing that the knife was about to slash into his head, he quickly took the white blade empty-handed. Wang Keek stopped and said with a displeased face, "Brother Zhao, what's going on with you? A 20 centimeters long knife is not easy to recover." Zhao Weiming didn't know what was going on, while Li Weiming was on the sidelines. Just between the electric flint, Yuanjie's figure suddenly turned into a golden flash, and then, Zhao Ji, who was standing beside him, was taken over there. "This is space-time exercises?" Li Weiming was shocked. He suddenly regretted a little. He knew that when he detected the SS-level physique, he should choose to strengthen his eyes, and he was Shilezi's strengthened skin. Zhao Paste wiped the cold sweat on his forehead, and he turned around and bowed to Yuanjie. "Brother Ji, I'm sorry to disturb you, let's go." Yuanjie smiled and said, "Didn't you come to reason with me? How did it run?" Li Weiming touched his head awkwardly and said, "Brother Ji's words are the truth." After that, he and Zhao Jiao quickly dragged Wen Keek and ran away, without looking back. "I don't know how long I ran before I stopped." Wang Keek frowned. He was very puzzled. "Why run? I almost taught him a lesson." "Teach you a lesson just because of Iba? Do you understand the gold content of Brother Ji? If he unleashes that move Shenluo Xianzheng, I'm afraid you won't even be able to touch his head hair." Wang Keek pouted and said nonchalantly, "Is it that terrifying? Are you intimidated by him?" Zhao Wang patted his chest in fear, and almost made a fuss and was killed by his teammates. After hearing this, he was not happy. "What is so terrifying, is it?" "It's terrifying, bro." After Li Weiming and the three slipped away, Huang Fuqing arrived on the Snow White Wolf King. They just happened to bump into the scene where Yuanjie used the Enpion Heavenly Guidance to quickly clear the monster, and they were immediately frightened. "This strange efficiency is even more powerful than me, one person and one beast." Chapter 34. When Yuanjie saw someone coming again, he remained silent. With such a big movement, he had long been mentally prepared. Huang Fuqing saw the true face of this year's only SSS-level genius for the first time, and it used to be just a portrait. "It seems, it looks pretty good. This student, isn't it a little immoral for you to do this? You guys are cheating." Yuanjie didn't look at her, and replied with a playful smile, "Tell me, which exam rule did I violate?" Huang Fuqing said for a while. Wang Qing knew her. She was the daughter of the head of the Huangfu family, and her status was the same as herself. The talent is similar, all are SS-level physique. The difference is that she is a French royal lineage, while Huang Fuqing is a beast royal lineage. The atmosphere was awkward for a while, and neither side spoke, just stared dryly. Yuanjie cleaned up the two waves of extraterrestrial spirit beasts and clapped his hands and smiled at them. "Let's go." "Where to go?" "The inner circle. The spirit beasts on the periphery are almost clear." Huang Fuqing wrinkled his willow eyebrows, huffed and crossed his waist in front of them and said, "Don't go, you've already swiped enough points." Yuanjie laughed. "Who do you think you are? I have the ability to get the highest score, why should I let it?" "Because, for 20 years, it was our Bali Middle School that won the championship, so this year is no exception. I won't allow you to brush anymore." The three of Yuanjie looked at each other, and this person seemed to be a little embarrassed. Could it be that the first place on the scoreboard of the preliminary test reached the exclusive throne of Bali Middle School? Being able to achieve the first excellent result in the country in the preliminary examination has many benefits, and there is a cash reward of up to 100,000 gold spirit coins. Yuanjie came for this. You want him to give up in a word? Huang Fuqing saw that he could not enter the oil and salt. She pulled out a small leather whip and whipped it fiercely, leaving a harsh sonic boom in the air. "If you have to go, you're welcome to blame me." Just in the blink of an eye, in front of Huang Fuqing, a handsome young man suddenly stood. Yuanjie bent down close to her delicate face, his pupils opened instantly, and he said to her word by word, "Can you repeat what you just said? My ears are not very good." I saw that Huang Fuqing's eyes immediately froze, and her expression was numb. The two teammates sitting in the back row suddenly felt bad. They had both received information from Yuanjie and knew that his eyes had an illusion function. King Mei, wake up." But no matter how they called, Huang Fuqing did not respond. At this time, the Garou beast stormed away. It hates it the most in its life when someone steps on its head. Yuanjie returned to his place with the flying thunder god, and a golden flash disappeared in front of them. The Garou beast roared up to the sky, and it rushed towards the position of the three of Yuanjie like crazy. Wang Qing just wanted to make a move, but Li Tiansha took a step forward. "Let me come, I've rested enough." After speaking, the spiritual power in her body instantly exploded, and her long golden hair fluttered in the wind. She flew in the air, her eyes looked at the Gyro beast indifferently, and it instinctively retreated. Then, it shook the three people on its back, grinned and rushed towards the other party's position. Yay! Li Tiansha threw a punch hard, and the fist wind blew Wenqing unable to open his eyes. Unpretentious moves, usually the most moving. Her fist is not big, but a little delicate. In the collision of fists and beasts, time seems to stand still. 3 seconds later, a powerful energy burst out, blowing Wenqing and Yuanjie away. Wenqing got up embarrassedly, and her pupils contracted a little. This is the power that F-grade physique can burst out. Nope. It is absolutely impossible, even if it is Zhao paste that strengthens the hand. I am afraid that he will not be able to swing this punch. Yuanjie didn't use the Shinluo heavenly signs just now, he just wanted to feel how fierce this punch was. He got up, a shallow smile on the corner of his mouth. Sure enough, he knew that Li Tiansha's physique was not simple, there was definitely something strange, and he couldn't say what was strange. The Gyro beast was blinded by this punch, and it smashed all the way through, leaving countless deep pits in its path. Huang Fuqing woke up, she was connected with a spirit beast, and the punch just now broke the barrier of the illusion world. She looked at the blonde woman in disbelief, her Gyro beast, but with the strength of the ninth order, her physical body was comparable to the fusion realm. How can a small F-level physique smash it 100 meters away with one punch? What kind of freak is this? However, she quickly calmed down, and she manipulated the Gyro beast to stand up. Gyro beast super evolution, or Gyro beast, a dazzling pillar of light fell from the sky, and the Gyro beast roared, and actually stood up on its legs. Li Tian frowned shallowly, I hate orcs. After that, she flew in front of the orc Gyro beast in an instant, and when they met, it was a sending dragon fist. Phew, the orc Gyro beast let out a roar of pain. Without waiting for it to react, Li Tiansha flashed to its chest, and a series of kicks. Click click finally, she teleported over its head, and the horse raised her leg and kicked it down fiercely. Rumble. The body of the orc Gyro beast smashed out a large pit tens of meters deep. However, after all, it was a fusion realm level flesh, and it could not inflict a fatal blow on it. Even spirit beasts feel pain. It roared and slammed into the ground, jumped into the air, and knocked Li Tiansha away with a punch. Yuanjie used the Shinluo Xianzang to stabilize Li Tiansha's delicate body. Li Tiansha thought, kicked his right foot hard, and rushed over again to fight with the orc Gyro beast. On the playground of Jianghu No. 1 Middle School, the invigilators were stunned. Have you seen which F-grade physique can fight back and forth with the SS-grade beast roll line, against the sky? Shocked my mother for 10,000 years. I see, it should be that her cultivation technique is very strong, right? Otherwise, with her physique, it would be impossible to burst out with a speed and strength. Seeing that Huang Fuqing was controlling the spirit beast to fight with the other party, the other two teammates also attacked Yuanjie and Wenqing. Spring breeze turns into rain, the moisture in the air condensed a dark cloud above Yuanjie and them, and in the lightning and thunder, the raindrops crackled and fell. Wenqing threw her silver-white hair behind her, her eyes were solemn, and she immediately froze and opened the ice wall protection. The corrosive rain couldn't melt her ice walls. The other one, with both hands on the ground, a huge crack spread towards Yuanjie and them. Earth Dragon turnover, Wenqing took a deep breath, and then spat out a hot flame, surrounding her and Yuanjie, obstructing the opponent's attack vision. Damn it, the classmate of the SS-grade Law Imperial Soil Element scolded. Unexpectedly, the next moment, she felt a huge pain behind her. Her body was kicked violently to the ground. Before she fell unconscious, she seemed to hear someone whisper in her ear. What you just said is, who deserves to die? Yuanjie had already arranged more than a dozen flying thunder god marks in place, and he could shuttle to various positions at will. Taking advantage of the gap between the other parties casting spells in place, he unexpectedly flashed behind her. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 35. The abnormality on the field made Huang Fuqing and the two come back to their senses, and they seemed to have forgotten that there was another person. That person was a genius with an SSS-level physique. Just now, It was two women who fought with them, which made them subconsciously ignore the existence of Yuanjie. When Yanru, an SS-level Imperial Water Elemental talent, saw her companion being kicked away, she was defensive, and immediately immersed her whole body in a vague blister. This is her strongest means of defense. Don't look at the bubble is very thin, the general fusion realm powerhouse cannot break. Yuanjie Fei Thunder God came behind Yanru, and went up step by step with a kick. Huh? This kick actually failed to break the bubble? Kind of interesting. Yanru felt the bubbles tremble, and her heart suddenly tensed. It's fine. The membrane did not break by him. Yanru put away her contempt, her hands quickly froze, and there were words in her mouth, rain falls and flying flowers. At the same time, the classmates who had just been strengthened by the earth element that was kicking off also got up and made their strongest move, heaven collapse and earth crack. Dark clouds pressed down, and heavy downpours fell in small areas. However, this rain cannot be underestimated, the mass of each raindrop is very large, and it hurts to hit the body. The land in a large area in front of him was instantly covered with dense cracks, and the cracks intensified, and in just 3 breaths, powerful energy erupted from the surface. The energy was so great that Wang Qing used his ice and fire wings to fly into the air. The corner of the earth elemental classmate's mouth smiled contemptuously. Do you think this is going to be over? This is her strongest killing move. It's just that the ground is cracked, and the sky has not collapsed. Poof! Wang Qing felt a strong gravity pressing on her body, and she was caught off guard by the blood. The dual pressure of the surface and the sky, as well as the heavy rain, overwhelmed her. After a while, she couldn't hold on. Playing with mud, huh? I will too. Yuanjie shouted loudly and clasped his hands together, a few cut antennas. He raised his right hand, and an inconspicuous black ball of gravity rose from his hand. At this time, the surface of the ground that had already cracked, countless rubble pieces broke away one after another, flying straight to the sky. Oh my god, what the hell is this? In high schools across the country, the eyes of all proctors are attracted by the big war that breaks out here. Li Weiming, who had already run 10 kilometers away, his lips trembled, and he raised his right finger and pointed to that side. Zhao Zhou and Wang Qi looked in his direction and couldn't help but swallow their spit. Are you special? The pressure on Wang Qing's body gradually weakened, and she got up with difficulty. Why is it dark? She looked up, her face pale. On the other side, the orc arrow beast and Li Tiansha stopped fighting at the same time, and they both felt a suffocating chill. Boom! The perspective is zoomed out, and a huge moon with a diameter of 1,000 meters floats above this space. There should be BGM here. Grandma stroked you, but a big pineapple. Yuanjie's body slowly rose into the air, and he looked condescendingly at the 3 people below, smiling evilly. Do you want to feel God's will? Huang Fuqing, Yanru, and Chu Jiao were so frightened that their pupils dilated, and the huge stone ball was slowly falling. Obviously the speed is very slow, but the huge mass squeezes out the air with a sonic boom, and even, like a meteorite, ignites a roaring flame. Li Weiming, who was watching the battle from afar, swallowed his saliva fiercely. This stone ball was 10 times larger than the one at the school gate before. Is this the real combat power of Yuanjie? It's terrifying. Nemas, this is what a person can do? A miracle, really a miracle, countless proctors marveled. Most of them have reached the strength of the fusion realm, and if you ask yourself, they can't release such a huge skill. In the office of the Dean of the 6-Dao Academy, a group of old men were watching the battlefield live broadcast. What exactly are those eyes capable of? One moment of illusion, the next of copying, and now there is a meteorite. Lao Wang, you are a powerhouse of the Great Late Realm Imperial Earth element, can you do it? Old man Wang squinted his eyes slightly, and then sighed. The current strength can definitely do it, but you let me repeat this trick when he is cultivating, probably the difference between the sun and the moon, he added. Yuanjie is the sun, and I am just the light of rice. Old man Wang is one of the top combat forces in the Great Xia Kingdom, which shows how high his evaluation of Yuanjie is. The Dean of the 6-Dao Academy sighed. Alice, it's a pity that his volunteer is not our 6-Dao Academy. On the other side, in the office of the Dean of the Desolate Ancient Academy, everyone looked angry. Obviously he is the king of the physical imperial system, but he can use a skill that is 100 times more powerful than the legal royal system. This son has the posture of a great emperor. Ha, let's not forget, he will be a student of our academy in the future. Dean, I think his companion Li Tiansha can be admitted out of the ordinary. The dean of Aragoku Academy leaned back tactically, her gaze never leaving the blonde long-haired girl before. Out of line? I don't see it necessarily. Back on the battlefield, as the meteorite fell, Huang Fuqing and the others finally couldn't stand it, and they quickly crushed the jade card and teleported out. The school doctor of Bali High School hurried to their side to check on their injuries. Huang Fuqing was shocked, and his mouth was broken, obviously frightened. I'm sorry, headmaster, she said with tears in her eyes. Su Ning sighed and doted on her up. I don't blame you, you tried your best. As the saying goes, handsome in 3 seconds. Although this move was very handsome, it instantly drained the spiritual power on Yuanjie's body. He used the little remaining spiritual power to use the Flying Thunder God, picking Li Tiansha and Wang Qing up and moving them outside the attack range of the Earth Explosion Heavenly Star. At the same time, in order to maintain the good habit of not wasting, he poured a few bottles of recovery potion, and used the Vientian Heavenly Guidance to gather all the spirit beasts within 100 kilometers under the meteorite, points plus 12013. After doing all this, he slowly closed his eyes. The blonde Li Tiansha hugged his prince and looked at his face with complicated eyes. Wang Qing flew over and asked eagerly, is he okay? I don't know, maybe I'm too tired, or not? Let's get out. Wang Qing saw that their points had reached 28,467, which had long broken the record of the initial test points in previous years. Yuanjie coughed, and he said weakly, don't go out first, stay a little longer. Seeing him speak, the two women breathed a sigh of relief. Wang Qing sealed and turned into a small ice wall, and the three of them sat on it, and the ice wall slowly flew towards the inner circle. Li Tiansha took out a tissue distressed and helped him carefully wipe the blood and tears from the corners of his eyes. Wang Qing wanted to step forward to help him heal his injuries, but he still froze when he thought about it. She didn't have a good relationship with him. She smiled wryly and shook her head. It was 12 noon, and the secret realm was as cold as ever, and no sun rose. Wang Qing took out the artificially bred meat spirit beast from the space ring and personally made a barbecue. Yuanjie is still asleep, not knowing when he will wake up. Ding. The limited time secret realm preliminary test discount package has been triggered, please purchase it in time. Another pack, that must be bought. Yuanjie clicked the buy button excitedly. The balance of gold spirit coins is insufficient. I blanch, how much is this thing? More than 20,000 gold spirit coins can be bought? Yuanjie people are stupid. Host, the limited time secret realm first test discount package is priced at 30,000 gold spirit coins. Are you special? Chapter 36. What to do? Buy or not? Yuanjie was caught in a dilemma. Because he didn't know the contents of the package, he wasn't sure if there were any good things in it. And the gift package is such a thing, if you don't buy it, it feels very lossy, and the things produced by the system should not be much worse. Well, this bird isn't. Where do I go to get money? Yuanjie was depressed. He smelled a fragrance and opened his eyes blankly. You're awake. Li Tiansha returned to normal, and changed back to the plain girl. She surprised Yuanjie up, with light in her eyes. Wang Qing walked over with a roast chicken in her hand, and she said with a smile, are you hungry? Just got it. Because it was an SSS-level physique, Yuanjie's strength recovered a lot, and he sat up and gnawed the roast chicken. Delicious thick white juice overflowed from the corners of his mouth. Well, it's good, it tastes great, he gave Wang Qing a thumbs up. Wang Qing narrowed her eyes with a smile and snorted sweetly. It took the three of them an hour to kill the chicken and patted their stomachs in satisfaction. There is time left, even if they are rotten. The first point is not good, the top three will definitely be stable. Su Ning, the principal of Bali Middle School, did not arrange for the other two groups of geniuses to take advantage of Yuanjie's weakness to trouble them. This kind of victory in invincible means, she still disdains to do. Moreover, it is strictly forbidden to kill people in the preliminary examination of the secret realm, and those who are found will be permanently disqualified from the academy. Therefore, if it weren't for Huang Fuqing's 3 lives just now, otherwise they would have hung up, Yuanjie would be in trouble. Miss Wang, are you rich? Yuanjie casually raised his mouth. Huh? Wang Qing looked at him strangely, not understanding why he asked this question. Could it be that he wanted to borrow money? However, borrowing money should also go out of the secret realm and borrow again. Now the birds here do not, there is nowhere to spend money. She nodded. Yes, I haven't spent my pocket money this month. How many? Yuanjie got excited. 5,000 gold spirit coins. I'm Zhou, It's good to be born in a big family, and I have 5,000 gold spirit coins and pocket money every month. This is a number that many people cannot earn in their entire lives. Yuanjie rubbed his hands embarrassedly. Can you borrow me first? I'll pay you back when the bonus for the first test is paid. Wang Qing did not hesitate and immediately took out a money bag. I just searched for it. I made up enough 8,000 gold spirit coins. I don't want you to return it. Woohoo, the rich woman is so nice to me. And, Wang Qing bit her lip and said, can you stop calling me Miss Wang in the future? It sounds very raw. What's that called? Yuanjie receives shorthands. Isn't it a nickname? Just shout. Call me Qing. She blushed and looked down and whispered. Okay, Miss Qing. Yuanjie drank a few bottles of spiritual power recovery potion, and after filling up his state, he once again used the flying thunder god to approach the inner circle. After arriving, he quietly leaned into Li Tiansha's ear and said, Shallow, have you noticed that after you opened the 8 doors, it seems to be more magnificent there? Where? Li Tiansha didn't know how to look at him, tilting his head to look at him. Yuanjie drew an arc in front of him. With a serious face, this is it. Li Tiansha's face brushed red, and the soft flesh around his waist twisted fiercely, and Yuanjie was painful. Hooligan. Ignore you. She flicked her ponytail and ran away shyly. Wang Qing overheard next to her, and she looked down at her figure. I have a D. Why does he always ignore me? It turned out that she still thought that Yuanjie did not have some damn proclivities, but she did not expect that the true color of a man. Actually, she thought too much. Pink skeletons are the same, and interesting souls can touch people's hearts. Yuanjie and they rested, but the other 2 groups of Bali Middle School did not stop. They have been brushing monsters in the inner circle, and soon closed the point gap. Yuanjie recharged 5,000 gold spirit coins into the system and gritted his teeth to purchase a limited-time Secret Realm preliminary trial discount package. When he opened it, he couldn't help but frown. Congratulations on obtaining props, Cultivation Experience Potion X 1000 bottles, Complete Body Suzeo Experience Card X1, Experience Duration 1 hour. No, that's it? The loss is lost, the loss is to the grandmother's house. It turned out to be an experience card. Abominable. Why not choose your own skill chest? Yuanjie fiercely wanted to open the cap of the cultivation experience potion and turn anger into motivation. He had just avoided the 2 women under the pretext of going to convenience, and secretly poured a cultivation experience potion behind a big tree in the sky. 1,000 bottles. He almost vomited. Although the taste is good, the aftertaste is endless, but drinking too much at one time is a little sore. Host, in fact, you can choose multiple bottles of potion at once. You don't need to drink 1 bottle at a time. Yuanjie finished drinking before receiving the prompt. He felt like a critic. Say it early. Why not say it earlier? Why not say it earlier? You should have said it earlier. Why not? It took a little longer to leave, and in order to avoid revealing flaws, Yuanjie covered his stomach and returned. The 2 women suddenly became nervous. It won't be a bad stomach, right? Wang Qing blamed herself. He coughed twice, indicating that he was fine. The strange thing is that after drinking 1,000 bottles of cultivation experience potion just now, why haven't he broken through yet? If you break through, you can awaken the kaleidoscope riding wheel eye. What moon reading, Amaterasu, plus earth life, and divine power are waiting for you. He asked about the system, and the system died without saying a word. Helplessly, he had to turn around and consult Wang Qing. Wang Qing was surprised. The laws of heaven and earth in the secret realm are separated, and you can't break through cultivation here. The teacher mentioned it in class. Didn't you listen? Li Tiansha said with a light arch face. He sleeps in class. Broken, a little ashamed. After walking for a while, Wang Qing said cautiously, or just work here, we won't go in. Yuanjie looked at the terrifying forest that could not see the head, and thought that it should be outside the circle of the hunting area. He said nonchalantly, it's not happy to just rub around the periphery of the secret forest, you still have to go deeper, Wang Qing said worriedly. However, no one has ever arrived at the flower heart of the secret forest, and I am afraid that it will kill people. Li Tiansha was bold. She waved her small fist and said, the road to cultivation is already bumpy. How can you achieve the fruit position without experiencing 9 deaths? Yuanjie nodded thoughtfully. Yes, that's right, 9 shallow and 1 deep is stimulating. Wang Qing saw the 2 teammates rushing forward desperately. She sighed, and had to keep up with the rhythm. Lord Huangfu, They entered the secret realm forest, is it? The place is off the beaten track and is a great place to get your hands dirty. Someone hesitated and replied with a heavy heart, I heard that there is a mystery in the secret forest. If I do it inside, I am afraid that I will be alarmed. Why are you cave family so timid? It's really not as good as a generation. The people from the cave family blushed, and they couldn't refute it. Your cultivation is too low, and it is also a burden to go in, so let's go here, Flutter. The cave family's eyes widened and they looked back in disbelief. You, how, can, before he finished speaking, Huang Fuyu pulled out the red knife with an expressionless face. Chapter 37. Yuanjie Sky Led, Elemental Ice Wall. Fire burns. The Yuanjie group reopened the monster brushing mode and became a ruthless orc hunter. The invigilators on the playground watched the Yuanjie group at the top of the secret realm preliminary examination standings rise wildly at a rate of 5,000 points per minute. Xingjun asked with a heavy face, still can't find their whereabouts, not visible in surveillance, wouldn't you? Did they go inside? Although the secret place is full of surveillance, there are some places that are still not visible. For example, once beyond the perimeter of the secret forest, there is no monitoring. One is that no student has ever been able to walk there. Second, no one dares to step into that forbidden area. Third, this is just a college entrance examination. Even the genius group of SS-level physique in Bali Middle School could only honestly stay on the outskirts of the forest to brush monsters. Is there a way to contact them? Wang Qing is a student in the 6th Academy, and this initial test has already demonstrated her potential, and Dao Man is worried. The desolate ancient academy was even more worried, and Xingjun wanted to call the dean and let her personally go in and retrieve the people. Su Ning sneered, this Yuanjie is really bold, the newborn calf is not afraid of tigers, and he dares to go deep there. I was a little happy to think that the youngest SSS-level genius in history might fall here. Anyway, it's not my Bali Middle School student, it's dead or alive to do my. Deep in the secret forest, a woman in ragged clothes was watering flowers, and suddenly her heart moved. Huh? How many years has it been? And finally someone broke in, or a few imps. She smiled playfully. Vianyang heavenly led, Yuanjie expanded the absorption range to a radius of 50 kilometers, and the deeper he went, the stronger the extraterritorial spirit beasts inside became. At present, the most powerful extraterrestrial spirit beast that has been absorbed has reached the 5th order of the fusion realm. Even Wang Qing felt very strenuous. She now had to release 4 or 5 skills at a time to eliminate them. Li Tiansha joined the battle group, and with her help, Wang Qing's pressure was relieved a lot. Suddenly, a super huge big sword phantom fell from the sky, and Li Tiansha quickly teleported out, but the speed was too slow, and he saw that the sword shadow was about to split on her body. Yuanjie quickly activated the flying thunder god and brought her back. Bang! The powerful energy shook the 3 of them and slammed into the big tree. Even if Yuanjie opened the Shinra heavenly sign, he could not resist the shock wave. He vomited a mouthful of blood, and the injury was not light. A puff of smoke dispersed, the sword shadow turned into a little starlight and disappeared into the sky, and a tall figure slowly stood up from the center point. Yuanjie's pupils contracted, and he suddenly had a sense of crisis in his heart. He put Li Tiansha against the edge of the tree. Just now he used his back to help her block a lot of damage. Shallow was still too weak, unconsciously fainted. Thank you for your help. Yuanjie stood up and saluted. Regardless of what the other person wants, be polite. Huh? The tall figure teleported out and tore open a hole in the smoke alive. Wang Qing covered her chest and gasped for air. She raised her eyelids with difficulty to look at the person, but she couldn't see it, and her face was covered by the other party's sword intent. I think it is necessary to let you know my strength, and it is your honor to die in the hands of the 5th order of the Great Late Realm. Huang Fuyu teleported in front of Yuanjie and lifted his neck. Yuanjie fluttered his legs, his face flushed, and his heart seemed to stop beating for a few points. He activated the white eye and the chakra eye, trying to control the other party. Unexpectedly, the other party stared at him like this, without shying away. The corners of Huang Fuyu's mouth were crooked. Your illusion is useless to me. Woohoo! Yuanjie felt the coming of death for the first time, and he desperately beat the other party's hand with his hand, doomed to no labor. He looked at each other desperately, trying to remember the other's face. Under the white eye state, any disguise is invalid. Wang Qing and they can't see. It doesn't mean that Yuanjie can't see. The strength of Huang Fuyu's right hand gradually increased. He did not say more nonsense, and knew the truth that more words will lead to death. Yuanjie gradually became weak, and the strength of the struggle became smaller and smaller. At this time, a dexterous throwing knife was thrown out of the void, and Huang Fuyu was forced to put down Yuanjie. "Oh, interesting, Yuanjie, I knew you would be here." A red-armored woman with a large sword on her back walked out of the void. Huang Fuyu said excitedly, "Come on. Let me see how strong this legendary spirit Imperial SSS-level genius really is." Yuanjie fell to the ground, and Li gasped for air. He climbed to Li Tiansha's side, and Wang Qing weakly helped the tree trunk to his side. "What to do? Yuanjie, I feel that his goal is coming at you." Yuanjie closed his eyes in pain. He could guess that it should be the master of the family who made a move. He didn't know what to do. The difference between the Heisei realm and the Great Evening realm was two big realms. Take the head? He was silent, and could only pour a recovery potion to restore his strength. Li Tiansha was still in a coma. He pinched the side of her face, squeezed out a small mouthful and poured some recovery potion for her. At the same time, he threw several bottles of recovery potion to Wang Qing. This teammate is good, and along the way, his impression of her has changed. The big sword that fell from the sky just now was captured by the surveillance. Xingjian's face turned pale, and this powerful offensive could only be played by a master of the Great Evening realm. She trembled her hands and quickly called Dean Li Qing. "Dean, it's not good, Yuanjie is in danger," Li Qing said in a deep voice. "I just saw it, Lao Wang and I are already on the way." Du Xingjian put down his heart. If the Dean and the Earth God King made a move, Yuanjie should be fine. It's just that I don't know if he can hold out until the arrival of the two peerless masters. On the other side, Mulan and Huang Fuyu were in a fierce fight. Dancing flowers, Mulan Jiao snorted, drew the light sword at her waist and threw it out. Huang Fuyu only turned lightly sideways, and the light sword did not hit. Mulan's eyes froze, and she pulled out the heavy sword behind her, dragged it on the ground and slashed at the other party. Bloom blade, she held the épée and sent out a powerful slash. Empty flame slash. Squeak, with all the big trees in the sky within a kilometer of her, there was a flat knife mark on the trunk. After a while, all the trees were cut off. The trunk fell in response, bringing up a thick puff of dust. What? Mulan's eyes widened, but she didn't expect that the slash was not a real body. The imperial sword flew up, and he said coldly, "Yuanjie, I admit that you are very strong. You can actually summon a spirit object of the 9th order of the fusion realm, and you can exert 70% of the strength of the spirit object before its death. Unfortunately, it's still too weak. This sword makes you clearly understand that what is called the Big Night, all our ants." Huang Fuyu waved forward lightly, and the wooden leaves in the forest danced, turned into sharp swords, and shot towards Mulan in unison. Bang bang bang, in an instant, the armor on Mulan's body was full of holes, and she turned her head to look at Yuanjie sadly. "I'm sorry, Lord Mother, I can't protect Lord properly." Mulan's body turned into smoke and disappeared with the wind. Poof! Yuanjie spat out blood. Her 10 fingers pinched out blood from her slender thighs, and she stared forward angrily. Which family dare to do something to him? If he makes any mistakes, I want you to be doomed. Chapter 38. After solving Mulan, Huang Fuyu walked towards the three of Yuanjie step by step. Every footstep is like a death bell, beating heavily on the heart. Wang Qing stood up, and she stretched out her hand to block in front of Yuanjie and Li Tiansha. "Senior, can you look at the face of our Wang family and let him go?" Huang Fuyu smiled contemptuously, and with a wave of his hand, Wang Qing flew 10 meters away. "If the Decepticon said this to me, I might take care of him a little thin. You are not qualified enough, little daughter of the Wang family." Li Tiansha suddenly burst out the power of the birth gate, and her long golden hair was windless. She teleported in front of the man, and used all her strength to throw a punch. Huang Fuyu blocked it with his palm, and his steps retreated 2 meters, looking surprised. "Interesting, the F-grade physique can burst out such power. You are also extraordinary." After speaking, he turned his palm into a fist to repel Li Tiansha. "Yuanjie, I have killed many geniuses. You are the first SSS level. You should be proud." He raised his sword, flew to Yuanjie, and lifted him up again. Shinra Tenzheng, huh? Huang Fuyu was ejected tens of meters. He patted the dust on his body, and the corners of his mouth played. "I heard that geniuses will burst out with good strength before they die, and I like to appreciate the appearance of geniuses dying." Can you get me excited again? At this time, his right foot was dragged by a hand. Li Tiansha lay on the ground, raised his head and said weakly, I don't allow you to hurt him. Huang Fuyu shouted, get away. He smashed Li Tiansha's palm with a backhand. Ugh, her heart-rending screams resounded through the forest. Yuanjie's heart was like colic, and he said with a stunned eye, I have the ability to rush me, Earthburst Sky Star. Before the gravitational ball could spawn, he was choked by a hand. In Bali Middle School, Li Qing, the dean of the desolate ancient academy, and the Earth God King stood outside the portal with solemn expressions. Lao Wang, what's going on? Has the secret realm been touched this time? Lao Wang also feels incredible. Usually, with their strength, aren't the two realms shuttling casually? At this time, a spirit object gradually appeared, and then transformed into the appearance of a woman in black. Suning was shocked. She was also a strong person of the spirit royal lineage, and she had never heard of the transfiguration of exchanging spirit objects and Buddha figures. Yuanjie? You are also here. The woman in black kept her face composed, not wanting to answer. The Earth God King touched his nose awkwardly. Suddenly, a coolness seeped through Suning's neck. Open the door, Suning replied helplessly. Imperial Spirit God, I can't do it. The secret realm lasts for a day, and it can't be reopened until the time comes. The woman in black slowly turned around, and the blade left a bloody mark on Suning's neck. Yuanjie bit his thumb, quickly froze, and finally slammed the ground. Heaven and earth suddenly changed color, and one by one the void doors opened, and 10 figures that only existed in mythical stories slowly came out of it. Azure God, Earth God King, please help me. Li Qing and Lao Wang exchanged a wave of glances with each other, and immediately understood what to do, and they worked together to deliver a supreme blow. The powerful energy destroyed the playground and 10 teaching buildings of Bali Middle School. Suning sat weakly on the ground. Guys, why did you come to our Bali Middle School to break the door? Woohoo! Deep in the secret forest, a ragged woman's figure slowed down, and she came to mid-air in an instant. She chuckled, someone is coming, and I can't let them affect my mood watching the play. She spilled the petals in her hand with her bare hands, and a pink enchantment was erected outside the secret perimeter. Yuanjie took advantage of the other party's distraction and used the Flying Thunder God to hold the two women and run directly. Huh? It's pretty fast. See if it's your escape speed or my sword fast. Yuanjie flashed to the periphery, and as a result, he bumped into something inexplicable. Damn, how can there be an enchantment? Is God going to kill me? Yuanjie's expression changed. At this time, a sign-long sword broke through the air and flew towards Yuanjie's heart. Shinra Heavenly Sign, the flying sword was temporarily blocked in front of him, and where the sword edged, Mars burst out. But if you go on like this, you will surely die. Shinra Xianzhang can resist for up to 5 seconds. The forgetful brother finally noticed a complete body Susa experience card in the system's backpack. Without hesitation, he bit his thumb and attached the essence blood to the experience card. Bang! The flying sword landed on the ground with a sound, and it seemed to hit something hard. When Huang Fuyu arrived, he saw a blue light around Yuanjie's body, and a half-humanoid skeleton wrapped to him. Huang Fuyu smiled contemptuously and said without care, it's a little decent, but only you like this, you still can't beat me. Yuanjie opened his eyes impressively, and the 3-hooked jade in his pupils rotated wildly, finally forming a straight pattern of 2 swords crossed. What about this? The half-humanoid skeleton gradually gave birth to flesh and bones, grew a lower body, and the blue giant slowly stood up. At the same time, the giants were armed with armor, and the scales were ordered from top to bottom until they covered the whole body. The giant had 6 arms, each holding a weapon. Finally, the Utengu mask closes. The air seemed to freeze, and Huang Fuyu raised his head to look at a blue giant that was 100 meters tall in disbelief. The ragged woman watching the play on the side was shocked, and this power seemed to be somewhat extraordinary. Yuanjie looked down, and he showed a confident smile. I don't know if I can get you excited like this. Wang Qing woke up with a headache, and when she opened her eyes, she was full of blue. She suddenly saw herself standing high in the sky, her little face that had been afraid of heights since she was a child, and she retreated in a hurry. System, is there a way to treat Li Tiansha's injury? The system gave him a disdainful look. You must not have read the instructions. The recovery potion cannot only be taken internally, but also externally. Got it? Yuanjie took out more than a dozen bottles of recovery potions from his backpack and threw them to Wang Qing. Please apply these to Li Tiansha's wound. Thank you. Wang Qing picked up the recovery potion, and she carefully moved to Li Tiansha's side. When she saw that the palm of that right hand was not shaped together, she couldn't help but pity. She must have been in pain just now, right? Wang Qing asked herself. If it was her, would she choose to do her best when she was alive and dead? Even if it was her life, she would block Yuanjie? When the recovery potion was poured on the trampled palm, Li Tian frowned and groaned, as if he was suffering great pain, and tears overflowed from the corners of his eyes. The effect of the recovery potion is very significant, and the carrion is visible to the naked eye to regenerate. Yuanjie put down his heart and refocused his attention on Huang Fuyu. At this moment, he felt that his body contained a majestic spiritual power. Is this a complete body Susanoo? Zhang, Susanoo pulled the long sword at his waist out of the tip, and a cold wind swept by, only to hear a mournful cry. If you want to fight, then fight. Chapter 39. Law on Heaven and Earth. Ren Huangfu I wanted to break his head and didn't understand why an ordinary high school student in the Heisei realm could give birth to the Dharma Heaven and Earth that only exists in the Great Evening realm. His face was gloomy, and it seemed that this assassination mission was a bit tricky. There must be a quick fix, so he closed his eyes and felt the flow of the wind. Sword come. Suddenly, terrifying energy surged out of him, and a white-clothed sword fairy phantom turned its back to everyone, holding a sword and standing between heaven and earth. Alice, the light of rice grains, how dare you compete with the sun and the moon? The white-clothed sword immortal sighed, his right hand swiped lightly, and a sword key visible to the naked eye slowly slashed towards Susanoo. Wherever the sword key passes, the forest plants are powder. Ringing the bell, the cyan blue Susanoo held the shield in front of him with his third arm and blocked the killing. However, some people are not so lucky. The two groups of genius teams of Bali Middle School were locked up in the secret forest by the enchantment. One of the detachments is in the southeast. The sword keys streaked through their bodies, and they who should have become a hero died young. This is Heaven and Earth Law? Xingjun looked at the surveillance screen with shocked eyes. On the outskirts of the uncharted forest, dozens of cameras are live broadcasting. Which two immortals are fighting in the secret forest? Aren't you afraid to attract that person's attention? Daoman gasped. Dharma Heaven and Earth, that is a miracle that can only be manifested by a master of the Great Late Realm. In the Great Xia Kingdom, how many people are there in the Great Late Realm? This shocking battle immediately attracted the attention of the whole country. It was not only the invigilators who were watching, but many parents remained on the playground. Even after hearing the news, many masters rushed to the nearest school to observe the battle. Suning Jiao's body was shocked, and she suddenly remembered that there seemed to be two teams in her school who were in the secret forest. It should all come out, right? She couldn't reach them now, so she silently prayed for safety. Susanoo was shocked back hundreds of meters by the sword key and slammed into the enchantment before stopping. After all, Yuanjie's strength improved through experience cards cannot be compared with a 1,000-year-old goblin who cultivated step by step like Huang Fuyu. The white-clothed sword fairy let out a "ah," and he slowly turned around. I am proud of the world. In the face of strong enemies, I have always broken with a sword. You, very good. Then this next sword, can it be blocked? The white-clothed sword fairy instantly moved in front of Susanoo and waved lightly. Yuanjie held his sword in front of him. The two swords collided, and even cut through the void, bursting out of strong energy, but could not shake the enchantment by half a point. With such a big movement, Li Tiansha was woken up. She was the same as when Wang Qing had just woken up. Her small face was pale, and she was looking at the white-clothed sword immortal Xiangshan Xiangdi, who was close at hand. Wang Qing supported her, and the two sat next to Yuanjie. Her heart was extremely shocked at the moment. Why was Yuanjie so powerful? He obviously only has the cultivation of the Heisei realm. How can he fight back and forth with the Great Evening realm? Isn't this SSS-level physique? It is obviously the legendary SSR physique. The blue Susanoo pushed the other party with a raised arm, and the white-clothed sword fairy retreated hundreds of meters, and he drew his sword and stuck it on the ground to slow down his retreat. System, since I have Susanoo, can Amaterasu still use Kamui? Can't. You can only use enhanced versions of your existing skills. Got it. Yuanjie launched a flying thunder god, teleported behind the white-clothed sword immortal, and slashed down with one hand. Huh? How could anyone be faster than my sword? The white-robed sword immortal hurriedly resisted. Bell, he dragonflies a little water, gracefully flipped back and retreated. Genji flashed behind him again, and the figure of the white-robed sword fairy moved quickly, and he escaped from the range of Susanoo's attack. Yuanjie smiled contemptuously. It's quite fast. On the surveillance screen, everyone was stunned to see the two giants on the left for a while, and the other on the right, and the various gorgeous teleportation attacks were dazzling. Every time the swords collided, they brought out violent sparks. Enough. I'm going to get serious. The white-clothed sword fairy's face was slightly angry. The sign-long sword was suspended in front of him, and the sword body trembled. All things in heaven and earth, for my use, sword come. It seemed that attracted by this powerful sword intent, and the messy grass and trees on the ground, even the earth and air, turned into a sword. Grass, wood, bamboo and stone can all be swords. Where the sword is headed, it is ahead. Moved, 10,000 swords condensed by all things, moved. Boom, swords of all kinds shot towards Susanoo with lightning speed. Yuanji's eyes froze, and he clasped his hands together. Shenluo Shinzhen, countless swords, striking the Shinra heavenly sign, all shattered, without exception. Li Tiansha and Wang Qing sat on the gemstone set above Susanoo's head, and they felt a terrifying sword intent and attacked them. Fortunately, it was resisted by Yuanjie. The white-clothed sword immortal narrowed his eyes slightly. Even so, then it will use my strongest move, 10,000 swords. Syncretic. All the small swords combined into a huge and incomparable sword, exuding a Senrin aura. On the playground, all the invigilators held their breath, and the 10,000-meter-long sword brought people a visual experience that was really shocking. Is this a blow from the Exion? Xingjun and the others muttered with a dull expression. On the other side, Yuanjie, Li Qing, and the Earth God King rushed to the secret realm forest with all their strength. When I first arrived, I saw this 10,000-meter-long sword suspended in midair. However, they were all blocked by the outer enchantment, and Yuanjie's eyes were red sharply. Li Qing stopped her. Don't worry, don't you see that blue giant? Your brother should be in no danger, he was saved by power. Yuanjie is stunned. Mighty? Where is there any great power? Isn't her brother standing above the blue giant's head? The fierce battle in the southeast of the secret forest scared the last remaining genius group of Bali Middle School hiding in the northwest. They looked trembling at the giant sword suspended in the air. Don't panic, it's far from here, we won't be affected, I hope so. Yuanjie stared at the 10,000-meter giant sword being assembled in front of him. He closed his eyes and snapped his hands together. What to do? What a terrifying breath, I was so scared. Wang Qing shivered. She didn't want to die, she hadn't experienced the happiness of a woman yet. Li Tiansha hugged her and comforted. Don't be afraid, Brother Ji should have a way. Her eyes looked at Yuanji's side face, a face that could reassure her. No matter what, she would choose to believe him. Suddenly, the surface of the secret forest surged, and countless earth blocks soared into the air. Huang Fuyu was surprised to find this scene, but now was not the time to be distracted. Jianchen. Chop. Suddenly, the heavens and the earth changed, as if the end times had come. Huang Fuyu looked up curiously. I saw a huge meteorite with a diameter of 10,000 meters, breaking through the clouds. Huh? Chapter 40. Eagle insect tricks. Dare to get an axe. The white-clothed sword immortal held a sword and slashed in the air, breaking the meteorite in half. Yuanji's clothes and hair flew up from the bottom up, and blood gradually overflowed from his right eye. The white-clothed sword immortal looked up, and although the meteorite was split in half, it still did not slow down the trend of falling. Emperor Fu Yu's Dharma heaven and earth swelled and became huge again, and the white-clothed sword immortal held the meteorite with one hand. The corner of his mouth chuckled. Are you capable of this? Well, the second one, what can you do? Ho ha ho ha? Yuanjie laughed madly, and a bloodstain spilled from his right eye, which looked particularly oozing. Heavenly obstruction shocking star, broken, another larger meteorite tore through the thick clouds, revealing a hideous shape. The ragged woman smiled and showed an appreciative gaze. In the current era, are young people so strong? However, when she saw Yuanji's face, she seemed to have received an electric shock, and her red lips opened slightly. It really seems to. Outside the secret realm forest, Li Qing and the Earth God King looked up at the sky blankly. Only Yuanjie held his little hand excitedly. His expression was excited. The stronger his brother was, the more excited she was. On the playground, The director secretly switches the main screen to a picture farther away from the periphery of the secret forest. Everyone was stunned. How is that possible? What the hell is this? Is this the power of God? It feels like our strength is not a dimension. Our mortals fight, mortals retreat. The genius group of Bali Middle School also wants to run, but where to run? This second meteorite is so big, even if it doesn't hit here, the secret forest will be destroyed. The ragged woman turned around. Huh? And how many imps? Just let them out. This kind of scene is not something they can handle. One of them suddenly noticed that a door appeared in the nearby enchantment, and he hurriedly beckoned his teammates to run quickly. When they left, the door disappeared as if it had never appeared. I blanch. Still watch? Why don't you run fast? Dead? Huh? Oh. Without the slightest hesitation, they quickly crushed the jade card in their hands and teleported out. When there is an enchantment, the jade card cannot be used, and you can't run if you want to. For the first time, a solemn expression appeared on the indifferent face of the white-clothed sword fairy. Yuanjie's right hand pressed down, and the second meteorite landed faster. The powerful mass squeezed the air and rubbed the flames around the meteorite. Bang! The heavens and the earth seemed to be shaken, and a huge rumbling sound resounded through the forest. When the second meteorite pressed against the first meteorite, the white-clothed sword fairy was in shape, his body was bent, and he knelt on one knee. He had no choice but to shoot the 10,000-meter-long sword towards the sky. Even if the long sword destroys the first meteorite, what about the second? Huang Fuyu finally showed a desperate expression. He originally thought that assassinating an SSS-level genius in the Heisei realm would be a breeze. I didn't expect the other party to hide such a powerful power. The intelligence is wrong. Remove. Huang Fuyu wanted to crush the jade card, but found that it didn't work at all. Broken. The white-clothed sword immortal's figure became more and more tall, and he couldn't hold it when he saw it. However, the speed of the second meteorite did not slow down at all, and it continued to fall straight down. Wang Qing took a deep breath and looked at the handsome face with complicated eyes. She used to think that her SS-level dual-element talent was completely comparable to her SSS-level physique, but now it seems that she is a frog at the bottom of her well. Yuanjie must have used the power of the secret method to burst out, but this scene is not his future. He can do it now, and he will probably be even more powerful in the future. Then, she burst into a charming smile. Only such a powerful man deserves to have me. Li Tiansha clenched the small pink fist, and she felt the sense of crisis caused by the gap between the two was too large. She secretly vowed to strengthen her training. Do not seek to surpass, but do not lag behind. Li Qing and the Earth God King on the periphery of the secret realm forest would not have thought that this terrifying skill was unleashed by Yuanjie. They don't associate it either. Like them, all the people watching the big screen also thought that it must be two great powers fighting. Yuanjie? Huh? How could it be him? No kidding. Although the skills are very similar, they are also meteorites, but with his strength in the Heisei realm, it is impossible to achieve this step. It can only be said that normal people would think so. Who in the Heisei realm can burst out the strength of the great evening realm? Huang Fuyu spurted out a mouthful of pus and blood, and he really couldn't stand it. His miserable white face smiled viciously. Even if he died, he would pull up a cushion. With all his last strength, Yuki wanted to break through Susanoo's defenses and kill both women inside. However, just as he was chanting, he didn't expect a gravitational force that could not break free to interrupt his movements, and his whole body flew towards Susanoo. The blue giant took him in his hand. Huang Fuyu was terrified. He struggled his body vigorously, and shouted, You can't kill me. I am a noble family member of 3 families. Saga? I'm killing you. The blue giant's wrist squeezed him into blood mist. Wang Qing sighed faintly. It seems that Yuanjie's misunderstanding of the family is becoming more and more difficult to eliminate. Yuanjie has a gloomy face. The 3 major families? Since you dare to rashly kill me, then prepare to be destroyed. As for which family it is, I will spend a lot of time investigating in the future. With the death of Huang Fuyu, the white-clothed sword immortal Xiangshan dissipated. He said solemnly to Wang Qing behind him, I hope you don't tell others about my true strength, otherwise, you understand, you know? Wang Qing naturally understood this truth, and she nodded obediently. In the entire secret realm, except for her and Li Tiansha, no one knew that this blue giant was condensed by the power of Yuanjie. She has long regarded him as the Prince Charming in her heart, putting the man she likes in danger, which she will not do. The reason why Genji chose to hide his power is because this time it is completely thanks to the Susanoo experience card. Let him have the majestic spiritual power to fully control Susanoo in a short period of time, so that he can leapfrog the level and challenge the masters of the Great Evening Realm. After all, it's just an experience card, not a real strength. In case he is known by the enemy, he may be assassinated again by the Great Evening Realm, and if he is not good, he will send a few Great Night Realm Masters to surround and kill him. Prudence, must be cautious. Now is not the time to pretend. When he has real power, the world will know everything. At that time, even if they come to a few Great Evening Realm Masters. Suddenly, snowflakes rose between heaven and earth, like willows in spring, constantly fluttering. Overnight, the entire secret forest was covered in silver and beautiful. Genji's Susanoo automatically disintegrated, and the three of them fell to the ground. The outer enchantment of the secret forest condensed into a solid wall, and the situation inside could no longer be realized. Is it snowing? Li Tiansha stretched out her slender plain hand blankly. She looked up, and snowflakes fell on her body, dyeing her black hair white. Suddenly, Li Tiansha and Wang Qing fell to the ground in response and fell into coma, and only Yuanjie was safe and sound. Yuanjie's pupils shrank. He didn't believe that this was just a simple snowfall. His body was blown up by snowflakes and floated uncontrollably in the air, only to hear a soft whisper from Wu Nong. Follow me. Chapter 41. 4 or 5 chapters of the play. Relax a little. There are about 5 foreshadowings in this chapter. Yuanjie floated in the air for a long time, and finally landed. He saw a woman in white in front of him, and even if he couldn't see her face, her graceful back made his breathing stop a little. This is a fairy in the sky, right? Her fresh and vulgar temperament, at a glance, you can know that it is extraordinary. The woman raised her hand lightly and nodded. Sit. She is the rugged woman who has been watching just now, usually alone here. It doesn't matter what she wears, even if she doesn't hang it at all. This time is different. Outsiders come, you still have to dress up a little. When Yuanjie sat down, he couldn't help but glance outside, and he was relieved to see Li Tiansha lying quietly under the tree unharmed. You care about her? The woman held a teacup in her right hand, and her left water sleeve covered half of her face, elegant and decent. When Yuanjie saw the woman's true face, a poem immediately appeared in his mind. This person should only be in the sky. But how does it seem to have been seen somewhere? Drink tea, don't look. Yuanjie was exposed in person, his old face turned red. He took a sip, and the refreshing rich tea fragrance rippled in his mouth. Thank you seniors for your good tea hospitality. The woman smiled gently. She flicked her hand gently, and the teapot automatically rose and continued to fill his teacup. You are the first man who dares to go deep into me in so many years. Yuanjie didn't know how to reply. He nodded. The woman continued, what's your name? Yuanjie. The woman's action of drinking tea paused, and an inexplicable look appeared on her face. Surname Yuan? I once had an old man, who was also surnamed Yuan. Yuanjie's eyes lit up, and he asked, Senior, that friend of yours, is he as powerful as you? There was a light of remembrance in the woman's eyes, and she said softly, he is much more powerful than me. He is a heavenly immortal, and I am just a mortal with no name. Mortal? I think you're a Versailles. I don't know what realm my predecessors are now. The woman frowned. She seemed to think for a long time before saying, God King realm? It's been a long time. I don't remember. I blanch. It turned out to be a realm that had never been heard of, and it was definitely stronger than the Great Evening Realm. As for how much stronger, it all depends on brain supplementation. Since the mysterious woman's strength was so superb, she had just discovered a fight between Yuanjie and Huang Fuai long ago. As for why the woman didn't come to the rescue at that time, Yuanjie didn't care. His face is not so big, which can make a God King realm who has never met before pull out a sword to help. And now, the woman has appeared, which shows that she has a certain interest in him, which should be a good thing. Senior, you are so powerful. Junior has a reluctant request. The woman's expression paused. In thousands of years, this kid was the first to dare to ask for something directly from himself. Yuanjie walked up to Li Tiansha, gently pulled away her bangs that covered her eyelashes, and said softly, I want to ask my seniors if there is any elixir to improve my physique, no matter how much money I am willing to give. The woman's head, yes, but she is a superb physique that is rare in 10,000 years, not simple. Now the aura is thin, it is no longer the same as it was in the past. And it is normal that she cannot detect it. Is that so? Yuanjie caressed Li Tiansha's weak face, his eyes full of pity. Since it is enough to know that she is not a waste physique. Senior, does her physique need any conditions to be fully activated? The woman stepped forward slowly, picked up Li Tiansha's wrist, and her expression changed. It should, but I can't help her, because she's not human, Nanny? This explosive information shocked Yuanjie. Not human? What the hell is that? The woman's gaze moved to Wang Qing, and she smiled slightly. This woman's physique is the same as mine, I can send her some creation. After that, her fingertips clicked at the top of Wang Qing's peak, and it was visible to the naked eye that it was larger again. Good fellow. And the function of Brother Feng? Yuanjie wanted the mysterious woman to help Li Tiansha create a little, but he was embarrassed to say it. The woman and Yuanjie returned to the stone table to taste tea again, and the two were speechless. Yuanjie was curious to know the heroic deeds of the martyrs of her time, and the woman just smiled indifferently. Let's start with the story of your ancestors. Yuanjie lowered his head and replied dejectedly, I have never seen my grandparents since I was a child, and my parents died when I was 5 years old. So miserable. The woman moved. What's your father's name? Yuan Xianshen. Bang! The teacup in the woman's hand fell to the ground, and Yuanjie quickly picked it up. Yuanjie didn't know why the other party suddenly gasped. Could it be that she was the peach blossom dead left by her father? No, my father was mediocre and died at the age of 49. The higher the realm, the longer the lifespan. Don't look at the woman's youthful, 23 or 4-year-old appearance. How long he lived, no one knows. Really? My parents are kings? The story behind it, Yuanjie was embarrassed to ask, and did not dare to ask more. He took his leave. Senior, Junior has been bothering for a long time. My sister is still waiting for me outside, so I will leave first. Wait a minute, the mysterious woman floated lightly in front of him. I like the moon you made, so stay here. Yuanjie looked up, and saw that the second huge meteorite seemed to be frozen by time and space, and seemed to stop here forever. He took a deep breath and was impressed by this powerful strength. Senior, go together, I can't get out, the woman sighed. This forest is my magic weapon, I am trapped by it. Yuanjie couldn't react for a while. The mysterious woman looked at his face stunnedly. Don't hear the rooster, only hear the woman sigh. The deceased is gone, and the past cannot be traced. Neither things, nor people, nor things. In the past, she thought all the time about how to break through, but now, it is better to stay in this cage. You and I have a fate. I have something here that I can't use, so I'll give it to you. Yuanjie took the flying space ring, swept his mind, and was immediately taken aback. This space ring is not comparable to Wang Qing's. It is 10,000 square meters. It is full of all kinds of extraterrestrial spirit beast crystals, and the color is very good. There are also a few ownerless money bags, presumably left by the strong people who stepped into the forbidden area before. Yuanjie's expression was shocked. This meeting gift is not light. He said seriously, Senior, I will definitely find a way to save you in the future. The woman waved her hand and sighed. Let it be. The scene in front of Yuanjie's eyes changed instantly, and in the blink of an eye, he arrived at the periphery of the secret forest. The woman changed back into the ragged clothes. She gently stroked the robe, and said softly, Brother Don, I saw your descendants, but I didn't expect that he looked almost exactly like you. Then, her gaze crossed thousands of miles and looked at Yuanjie's back in fascination. It's okay, not like her. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 42. What about my sister? The enchantment dispersed, and Yuanjie walked out of the secret forest, but he couldn't see the figure of the mysterious sister. In his previous life, he was an only child, and he had never heard of his father having an illegitimate daughter, so he was very curious about his sister in this life. Unfortunately, the two passed by. Li Qing, the dean of the desolate ancient academy, stepped forward, and he patted Yuanjie's shoulder, exuding great goodwill. You are, Wang Qing transmitted, he is the dean of the desolate ancient academy, Li Qing. It turned out to be the dean. This is a big man. And who is this? His gaze looked at a skinny yellow-haired old man. He is the earth god of our royal family, the strength of the ninth order of the great late realm. To be given the title of god, the strength must be extraordinary. and Yuanjie was in awe. "Young man, you are very energetic. I seem to see my youth." After Li Qing gave him a thumbs up, he blasted out a wormhole with a punch and stepped in and away with the Earth God King. When they saw Yuanjie's terrifying explosive power, the Wasteland Academy was very worried that he would be robbed by other academies, and this trip showed his face, which was regarded as declaring sovereignty. "Yuanjie, it's a prospective college student of our desolate ancient academy. Any small knight, do not touch." Although the Earth God King has long ignored the affairs of the Wang family, his influence in the Wang family is still there. Does the pulling color he showed to Yuanjie represent the attitude of the Wang family? Many families are speculating that the Wang family is one of the three major families after all, and if Yuanjie becomes the son-in-law of the Wang family, it will become a situation of super strength. That's not what they want to see. Due to the shocking battle in the secret forest, the Daksha education official had to let the students exit the secret realm in advance for the sake of safety. They are all flowers of the motherland, and they cannot be allowed to wither before they bloom. The preliminary test of this spiritual power exam ended in a hurry. The first place in the standings, unsurprisingly, is the Yuanjie group, with a total of 349,643 points. When Yuanjie walked out of the secret realm, he was also stunned when he saw this score. How could it be so high? What is the concept of this score? Killing a spirit beast outside the Heisei realm is 5 points, killing a spirit beast outside the gradual convergence realm is 10 points, and the fusion realm is 20 points. And so on. As for the spirit beasts outside the Great Night realm, it is 1,000 points per head. The secret realm has been open for so many years, basically the big evening realm can be ignored. It's all a group of high school students, and you still want him to kill the Great Evening realm? What an international joke. It is a blessing to survive. In the office of the Education Department of the Great Xia Kingdom, the supervisor frowned and asked, "Is there something wrong with the point statistics?" The staff in charge of the overall division wiped his cold sweat, and he took out a scoring board to show the leader. The system shows that Yuanjie's group killed 15 spirit beasts outside the Great Night realm. What? Everyone in the office suddenly stopped the movement in their hands, and they couldn't believe their ears. The supervisor smiled. "Do you think you can believe this yourself? The highest cultivation in the group is only the 9th order of the gradual convergence realm, and they take their heads to kill the Great Evening realm spirit beast?" "But that's what the scoreboard says," the clerk said aggrievedly. "For thousands of years, the scoreboard has never gone wrong. It is said that this secret realm is a powerful spirit treasure, and every once in a while, some extraterritorial spirit beasts will be put in for students to experience. Over the years, the secret realm has cultivated countless talents for the Great Xia Kingdom. No one would question the fairness and impartiality of the uncharted scoreboard. But today, the unexpected happened." The supervisor rubbed his temples in pain. He didn't know how to explain it now. A large group of principals were waiting for his reply. "The problem is, the uncharted standings cannot be artificially modified, and even if you have an opinion, you can only watch it. Let's get the details out." The supervisor simply ignored the skeptical voices. This was judged by the ancient Lingbao themselves, and had nothing to do with him. "How? Is there a reply above?" Wang Gaozhen was immediately startled when he saw this score, and quickly contacted the leader of the direct department. The vice principal shook his head, and Wang Gaozhen understood. At this time, the standing screen of the major high schools in the Great Xia Kingdom has changed. Details of all group scores are published above. In detail, what level of extraterritorial spirit beast was killed in a few minutes and seconds. "What do I see?" someone exclaimed. At 1539, Yuanjie's team killed 15 spirit beasts outside the Great Night realm at one time. How is this possible? Yes. There must be something wrong in the standings. This is even more outrageous than if I am not my mother's biological child. I admit that he is very strong, and the Heisei 9th order can burst out with top-level combat power comparable to the gradual convergence 9th order, but the Great Late realm has 2 more great realms than the gradual convergence realm. It simply could not have been killed by him. Countless invigilators and parents talked about it, and almost everyone thought that the Yuanjie group must be stuck with a bug. Their more than 300,000 points are simply impossible. Even a normal Great Night 9th order top powerhouse can hardly kill the spirit beasts outside the Great Night realm in one blow, let alone 15 at the same time. Only the high-level officials of the schools frowned, feeling that this matter was not simple. They know the uncharted standings better than the average person, and they can never go wrong. That's only one possibility. They couldn't help but think of the fierce battle between the two great Evening Realm Masters before. Could it be that Yuanjie took advantage of the aftermath of the too powerful chaos to beat the high-level extraterrestrial spirit beast to death, and secretly went to mend the knife? The more they thought about it, the more frightened they became, and they had to admire Yuanjie's boldness and carefulness. If a master of this level fights, if you don't pay attention, you will be shaken to ashes by the aftermath. You said, will that blue giant be a relative of Yuanjie, and he personally brushed points for it? Some family members analyzed. Everyone was terrified. If there was really a great Evening Realm Master behind Yuanjie, then they would have to think about their strategy. Whether it is wooing or shooting, it needs to be considered in the long run. Some people looked at Wenjie as Xianjia Wenqing, but she had been staying by Yuanjie's side at that time. Little daughter of the Wang family, can you tell me in detail about the situation of the battle at that time? The head of the Jingchang Zhao family came over and asked. Zhao Bao, whom the Zhao family had high hopes for, did not do well in the secret realm preliminary examination, only ranking 10th, far from what they expected. Dad, don't ask, I believe Brother Ji has this strength. Zhao Paste carefully pulled the corners of his clothes and said weakly. The head of the Zhao family glared at him. Zhao Paste is the child he values the most, and he is also the most talented child this year. Although it is only an S-level physique, it is incomparably compatible with the Zhao family exercises. He also relied on his son and successfully ran for the position of head of the family this year. He was very disappointed in Zhao Bao. How could he have the idea of giving in before fighting? Wang Qing shook her head and said, I don't remember. The moment the blue giant appeared, I fainted. What happened behind? I don't know. Don't ask me. This answer seems reasonable, successfully blocking the family who want to know the truth. On the playground of Bali Middle School, Jing Changning's family looked at the audience angrily. They had gloomy faces. Why did everyone else come out? What about the three Xianjiao of their family? Who is so daring to be cruel to the three Xianjiao of the Ning family? Monitoring. I want to check monitoring. Chapter 43. Su Ning, the principal of Bali Middle School, trembled in her heart. The three Xianjiao of the non-Ning family were the top combat power formed by the three groups of SS-level geniuses she had arranged before, in order to impact the preliminary test standings. Although Huang Fuking's group appeared early, it was safe and sound. At that time, she arranged the other two groups of Xianjiao to brush monsters outside the secret forest to attack the first. But now, only one of the groups has returned. What about the Ning family's group? Broken. Nothing will happen, right? If something really happened, then she, the principal, could not be blamed. You guys, come here. The head of the Ning family pulled another group of Xianjiao in the secret realm over. He said sharply, say, what did you see in the secret forest at that time? Those three Xianjiao were undecided, and the two huge and incomparable meteorites that were terrifying in the secret realm just now caused a lot of psychological trauma to them. I don't know, one Xianjiao cried. At that time, we were brushing monsters in the northeast area of the forest, and then, we saw two Dharma heavens and earth fighting in the southwest, another Xianjiao said in a hushed voice. The head of the Ning family's face sank, afraid that the fierceness was less. He did not give up and asked again, at that time, where was our Ning family Xianjiao brushing monsters? It seems to be in the southwest. It's over. 9 times out of 10, it's cold. After hearing the survivor's answer, everyone sighed in their hearts. The Ning family had good luck this year, and unexpectedly produced 5 SS-level geniuses in a row, but they never expected that they would die 3 Xianjiao early in the first test. A genius who died halfway is not a genius at all. The head of the Ning family roared up to the sky with red eyes, and everyone could hear his grief. Alice, it's a pity. If these 3 SS-level geniuses were given a few more years to grow, the Ning family would not be able to be promoted to top family. Shaya, fate. For many years in the first trial of the secret realm, there has not been a human life. Who would have thought that this year there would suddenly be 2 powerful fights, and the aftermath of the battle would not be long? The eyes of the head of the Ning family were bloodshot, and he suddenly grabbed the neck of the surviving Xianjiao Jiang. You guys, why don't you go to the southwest? Why? Seeing that Jiang's neck red marks were getting deeper and deeper, Su Ning hurriedly stopped his behavior. This is an SS-level genius. For the Great Xia Kingdom, every genius is a treasure. Click. Everyone was shocked. The head of the Ning family actually pinched an SS-level genius to death on the spot. How dare he? He actually dared to ignore the laws of the Great Xia Kingdom and lay a death hand on a genius. Just because the Yuanjie has no identity background? Just a secular child? However, this is a living life, whether it is a genius or not, killing people in public. Really think that no one can cure their Ning family? Child, my child, the murdered Yuanjie's parents ran over in grief. Their child Jiang achieved the second best score in the preliminary examination. It can be said that with his SS-level physique, only the retest shows a little, and the super academy such as the 6-day Awakens is casually entered. As long as the child enters a top university, the future is limitless. And the family's life will be greatly improved. However, just now, they witnessed their children being killed by their families. They wanted to rush over just now to stop the Ning family master's attack, but they were stopped by the Ning family guards. They held the child's body and wept bitterly, and everyone was compassionate. The child's father stood up, clenched his fists, and cursed with red eyes. You family, can you rush people's lives? The head of the Ning family replied indifferently, what if I kill him? What can you do with me? What can the Great Xia Kingdom do with our Ning family? Arrogant. It's so unsightly. Su Ning is sad, although she is not a secular person, she is also a family behind her, but she is also her student. She said indignantly, Ning Yaowei, you have gone too far. Ning Yaowei grinned, he directly pinched Su Ning's neck, and a cruel smile appeared at the corner of his mouth. Su family, do you dare to reason with our Ning family? Even if I kill you today, your family will not dare to trouble me, believe it or not? Although the Ning family is not the top 10 families in Jingcheng, it is also a identified super family. At the very least, the private territory is dozens of times larger than the Su family. Kill my child, this enemy is not shared with heaven. I fought with you. Father Jiang rushed forward. Ning Yaowei sneered, and with an understatement, he blasted a big hole in the opponent's chest. Jiang's father widened his eyes, took a few steps back, and fell straight to the ground. Jiang's mother saw that her husband was brutally killed, and in the face of the strength of the family, she did not dare to step forward and fight hard. She was afraid of death, and she could only be powerless to haul. Noisy, Ning Yaowei's spiritual power erupted, shaking the Jiang family into blood mist. It rained red in the sky. The secular parents present held their children tightly, their eyes resentful. Other families are watching coldly, and this kind of human tragedy has happened. Anyway, it has nothing to do with their own family. Isn't it just the death of a secular pariah? Normal. They have a humble status and low strength. Even if they have a genius physique, they will die if they are not careful. Even if there is nothing at school, out of the ivory tower, who will keep them safe? The reason why the family can control the voice of this country is because the remaining top combat power is almost all the people. This is a world of the jungle, and people without family background should not live in this world to waste food. Ning Yaowei smiled contemptuously. He didn't panic in the slightest. Who would go to the trouble of elephants in order to step on a few ants? The family has 28 gods, and the land is divided into kings all over the country, and the national government can be worthy of 6 gods. How to manage? Even if your government wants to move the Jin family, then you must first ask the Saga Alliance if it agrees. The most ironic thing is that the major public officials of the national government have long been bought by the family members. He wiped his hands and swept around with cold eyes. Su Ning's chest rose and fell violently, and she still remembered the name of the dead Yuanjie. Although she came from an ordinary background, she worked harder than anyone. The poor child was in charge of the house early, and every day she would stay at school and train alone for 10 hours before returning home. She is the favorite student in the eyes of the teacher, and her well-behaved and sensible has left a deep impression on Su Ning. Su Ning still remembered what the thin little girl had said to her. Principal, I must work hard to cultivate. I want my parents to live a good life and no longer be bullied. Do you say I can do it? However, today she suffered a calamity of innocence. She couldn't do it anymore and never had another chance to achieve her dreams. Su Ning's beautiful eyes couldn't help but leave deep tear tracks. In this world, secular people are worse than family dogs. Su Ning resolutely turned around, and she wiped the blood and tears on her face vigorously. Where are you going? Ning Yaowei's indifferent voice came from behind her. Su Ning clenched his powder fist tightly, gritted his teeth and said, Your Ning family mutilates geniuses. I'm going to the Truth Society to find an explanation. Ning Yaowei raised his eyebrows, and he gently raised his right hand. Come back. The crowd was flabbergasted. Oh my god, does anyone take care of him? Ning Yaowei's behavior can't even be seen by many family members. Brutal. It's so atrocious. There are civilians who grit their teeth, spill blood and tears, and are full of grief. In today's world, the family covers the sky with one hand, the national government is incompetent, the academy is ruthless, and the people are not poor. God, can a new organizational force appear to take in the brutal family? Now there are internal troubles and external troubles, the invasion of foreign spirit beasts, and the chaos of the family inside. Run? Where can I run? Who knows if it's not the next hell? Ning Yaowei calmly lit a cigarette and spit out the smoke lightly. The truth will? Whoever has a big fist now has the truth. Now the strong army of the national capital and the god of the academy are not on the territory, this world. It is the family alliance that has the final say. Ning Yaowei's brutal slaughter scared the other geniuses white, for fear that the butcher knife would be raised towards him in the next second. Disobey, do not join, do not kneel and perish the family. Looking at the scared expressions of the group of untouchables, Ning Yaowei was refreshed. This is the means of the family, and they prefer that the family be pure and green. Although the Ning family was saddled with infamy today, it successfully collected 5 untouchable SS-level geniuses. Not bad. Chapter 44. Master, think twice. Ning Yaowei looked at the large group of elders below, and his eyes were about to burst into flames. This sun is still in its infancy. If you don't do it now, how will it end in the future? The Ning family had just sent off the investigators of the Great Xia Kingdom, and immediately began to formulate a family meeting against Yuanjie. Ning Yaowei never expected that the clan members who had always been obedient would actually refute him. The great elder threw up his hands and said, Patriarch, the meaning of the Azure God of the desolate ancient academy before made such a small action is already very clear. The academy is a must-be a champion. The third elder said in a deep voice, that's right, Li Qing, a top powerhouse of the 9th order of the Great Late Realm, actually waited for an hour outside the forest, just to get acquainted. It can't be that simple. Also, judging from the power that Yuanjie broke out in Bali Middle School before, she now has at least the strength of the Great Late Realm, and the family master. Do you know how terrifying a Great Late Realm spirit imperial lineage is? The stronger the physical strength of the spirit imperial system, the summoned spirit objects match their own strength. Yuanjie summoned 10 great evening realm spirit objects at once in Bali Middle School, and her combat power can be imagined. Our Ning family is not comparable to the 3 major families of the Wang family, the Huangfu family, and the Yu family, and there are only 5 great late realms in the entire Ning family group, and the highest cultivation is only the 6th order of the Great Late Realm. If you do it rashly, it will undoubtedly fall into the abyss. Ning Yaowei took a deep breath and calmed his restless mood. He understood what the elders said. But I don't know why, but recently there is always a faint feeling of unease. This matter will be discussed again. Adjourned. He waved his hand irritably, signaling them to go down. When everyone dispersed, Ning Yaowei opened his mouth and asked, has the killer of the Huangfu family succeeded? In the darkness, a figure walked out. He gently shook the fan, and replied with an inexplicable look in his eyes, our clansmen saw Yuanjie safe and sound in Jianghu No. 1 Middle School. They should have seen the Azure God and the Earth God King nearby, so they didn't dare to make a move. On the other side, the atmosphere of the Huangfu family dropped to freezing. Emperor Fuyu failed. Huangfu Gaogayan reconfirmed in disbelief. In his opinion, isn't it as simple as pinching an ant to kill a middle school student in the Heisei realm? For a master of the Great Late Realm? It should be. Since he failed, let him come back. Huangfu Gaogayan sighed. Can't be contacted. I'm afraid it's, bang. The clansmen who reported instantly turned into a cloud of blood mist, and everyone's tiger body was shocked, and they shrunk their necks and did not dare to breathe. The drop of needles can be heard. Yuanjie. 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 Huangfu Gaogayan roared hysterically. Everyone knew that Laozi was angry. Huangfu was a top master of the 5th order of the Great Late Realm, and his position in the family was very important. Their Huangfu family is only 10 Great Late Realms. This inexplicably died one of them, and it is impossible for the ancestor not to be angry. I didn't expect that even the imperial lord who sent him could not kill the son. The crowd was shocked. It was a sure thing, like your fiancé suddenly cuckolding you the night before your wedding. Were it, just when she went to learn technology, but she didn't expect that she was pregnant. You don't know if it's a man or a woman. The life and death of the Emperor Fuyu are unknown. casting a shadow on the Huangfu family. However, the ancestor of the Huangfu family did not mean to be angry, and it was not right to blindly attack when the opponent's strength was unclear. He was waiting for the attitude of the government and the academy. Moreover, not everyone in the Saga Alliance has one heart. Be careful to sail the 10,000-year ship. About the Huangfu family sending killers to assassinate Yuanjie, I don't know which old sixth passed it out, and now all the big families know about it, including Yuanjie. This news was told to him by Wen Qing, and she told him to be careful in the future and take protective measures so as not to be surprised. At night, Yuanjie lay quietly on the grass, biting the grass and looking up at the bright starry sky. Huangfu's family, his expression was very solemn. The other party is the three major families of the Great Xia Kingdom, and their forces and strength are very strong. Fortunately, he has not exposed his strength. At present, he is still a scumbag of the Heisei realm. However, as long as he received the cultivation experience potion of the daily gift package tonight, he would be able to smoothly advance to the gradual convergence realm after drinking another bottle. After gradually, he can open the kaleidoscope writing wheel eye, and when the time comes, he can awaken his pupil power, and he should have a certain self-preservation ability. Sister, young master, in the void, a red-armored woman crossed the domain, but her body was illusory and could not be seen. This is a self-created secret technique of Yuanjie, and no one else can discover the existence of spiritual objects except for the designated person who can see it. When he saw the familiar figure, Yuanjie was stunned. Mulan. You're alive? Mulan smiled gently. Young master, Mulan has long since disappeared. It was the master who made me reappear in the world. As long as the master does not die, I will not die. Yuanjie is frightened. Good guy, the old sister is a little powerful, he said in a deep voice. In the secret forest, that white-clothed sword immortal is from the Huangfu family. Young master, the master knows before you know that she has already taken revenge. Yuanjie did not choose to storm the Huangfu family. With her current strength, it was a little difficult. She chose to send various low-level spiritual objects to specifically assassinate the younger generation of the Huangfu family. The means of killing people by spirit objects are very strange. In order to hide people's ears, they usually create various accidents, which are difficult to find out in a short period of time. As of the evening, hundreds of people from the Huangfu family's clan and the younger generation of the divided family had died mysteriously, including many geniuses, and the number of casualties continued to increase. The problem is that the Huangfu family could not find evidence to directly indicate that it was Yuanjie. Even if there is sufficient evidence to prove that Yuanjie did it, you will not find where she is. They wanted to deal with Yuanjie, but found that the desolate ancient academy had actually sent a powerhouse of the Great Evening Realm to secretly protect this force, and there was no way to start. Unless you dispatch more than 3 masters of the Great Evening Realm, you can definitely kill Yuanjie. However, they were worried that the blue giant, the Huangfu family, could no longer lose their elite. When Mulan left, Yuanjie received a daily package. After he drank a bottle of cultivation experience potion, the spiritual power in his body surged, and his ki swallowed like a dragon, and after enduring a period of pain, Yuanjie successfully broke through to the gradual convergence realm. He suddenly opened his eyes, the whites of his left eye deepened, and the 3 hooks of jade in his right eye kept rotating, and finally transformed into a pattern of 2 long swords interlacing. Congratulations to the host for successfully advancing to the progressive realm. Congratulations to the host White Eye for advancing to the second stage, and learned skills. Bagua empty palm, Bagua 32 palm, super back to the sky, White Eye insight distance increased by 100,000 meters. Congratulations to the host for unlocking the kaleidoscope chakra eye. Kaleidoscope pupil activated technique, greatly increases the attack power and speed of physical skills by 5 times. Increases skill damage, and can attach real damage when attacking, and obtain special buffs such as skill range and form. Yuanjie's expression froze, and he took out the mirror to look at his kaleidoscope Sharingan. Unexpectedly, it turned out to be a straight bar writing wheel eye. The pattern of the kaleidoscope chakra eye is usually divided into 2 types, straight and guava, and the straight kaleidoscope is biased towards aggression and auxiliary functions, such as Uchiha and Sasuke. Guava kaleidoscope is biased towards the illusion type, typical characters Uchiha Itachi and Uchiha Stop Water. The kaleidoscopic chakra eyes of the 2 types of Ba pattern have their own merits, and it is not clear which pattern is the strongest. P.S. There is also a saying that the straight bar riding wheel eye is the meaning of eternal kaleidoscope, and this article will not be detailed. Link. The mall has updated the level package. Remember to buy it. Yuanjie clicked on the mall and was immediately dumbfounded when he saw the price of the gift bag. Dog system, you come out. Why does the gradual convergence realm tire gift pack sell me 50,000 gold spirit coins? The system replied without hurry. The host can rest assured, it is definitely worth the money. In the space ring that a mysterious woman gave before leaving, there were several money bags, which were a huge amount of 150,000 gold spirit coins. Yuanjie gritted his teeth and clicked to buy. I hope this level gift package doesn't disappoint me. Chapter 45. Congratulations on obtaining the items. Optional illusion skill treasure chest X1, self-selected leapfrog divine skill treasure chest X1, self-selected divine skill treasure chest X1, cultivation experience potion X 5,000 bottles, complete body Susano experience card X1, I blanch. Yuanjie Deng jumped up, startling Li Tiansha who passed by, and the hand that drank water shook and spilled it all on his chest. She said resentfully, what are you doing? It's okay, I'll wipe it for you, no need. Li Tian gave him a light look. A horse flat river, do not need to wipe, will flow down themselves. Yuanjie continued to lie on the grass, and he was very excited to open the first, optional illusion divine skill treasure chest. Don't be Tenjin, moon reading, Azanoji, Azanami, Senfa toad singing feudal minking, mirage, mirror flower water moon, illusion true life. He rubbed his hair tangledly, as if every skill was powerful. Yuanjie clicked on the skill description to view, don't heavenly god, forced to modify the will of the other party. Cooldown. 10 years. Each promotion to a big realm refreshes the skill cooldown. Side effects, cultivation to the third order of the drop section, I'm blanched, it's amazing, can I actually refresh the skill cooldown? However, according to my current cultivation speed, the conditions are slightly harsh. Moon reading, forcibly pull the other party's spirit into the illusion space, and the other party will get the same spiritual damage as the illusion space. It takes 1000 spiritual power to release, which can be released on strong people who exceed their own realm's energy, turning things that are unfavorable to you for a period of time into not happening, and only choosing things that are beneficial to you into reality. Cooldown, none. Each promotion to a big realm refreshes the skill cooldown. Side effects, cultivation to 2 levels of drop, as enemy, drag the opponent into the world of infinite reincarnation. The opponent must accept the will of the caster and sincerely repent in order to escape. Cooldown, none. Each promotion to a big realm refreshes the skill cooldown. Side effects, repair to 2 orders of the drop section, immortal law toad singing, a wide range of high-intensity sound waves are emitted, disturbing the opponent's nerves and making them immobile. It takes 3000 spiritual power to release mirage, psychic mirage creates mirages to hide themselves, and it takes 2000 spiritual power to release Kagami Shui ULV1, create a doppelganger with 70% of the opponent's strength, including body size, skills, etc. It takes 5000 spiritual power to release illusion true life, visualize the characters, animals, objects, etc. on the canvas and give them the same strength. It takes 500 spiritual power to release. Yuanjie was stunned for a moment. Why is there such a commotion setting as a drop section? The system replied milkily, with such a strong illusion, it is very reasonable to drop some cultivation, right? Yuanjie fell into deep thought. Although the illusion of Bishinshin is very strong, the side effects of dropping cultivation make him temporarily unacceptable. He is only now gradually closing the first order of the realm, and if he drops the third order, won't even the kaleidoscope be taken back? Secondly, Izanoji and Izanami are very powerful. But Milan told him that there are currently strong people in the Great Lake realm of the Aragaku Academy secretly protecting, so he will not be in danger of life for the time being. His current spiritual power is 10,000, which means that he can release 10 monthly readings and 3 toad chanting. It seems to be multiple choices, but it is actually a single choice question. For Yuanjie, the current best choice is to read the month, and the strong person who can control the fusion realm the highest, but whether it is the first order or the 9th order remains to be verified. Choose to learn magic monthly reading. Yuanjie's right eye stinged, and the kaleidoscope pattern rotated wildly until a petal curve pattern appeared directly above the 2 swords. Blood oozed from his right eye, which scared Li Tiansha. What's wrong with you? She ran over and took out a tissue to wipe it for him. It's okay, I just evolved my Sharingan. Has it evolved again? Li Tiansha felt a heavy pressure. The stronger Yuanjie was, the greater the distance she needed to chase. She misses the time 5 years ago, when she and Yuanjie played carefree, and everyone was just ordinary students. Now, 5 years later, Sister Yuanjie's strength is said to have reached the Great Evening Realm, and she was given the title of Imperial Spirit God by the world. Yuanjie went against the sky, killing a 5th Order Master of the Great Evening Realm with one hand in the realm of the 9th Order of Heisei. And she? The gap between the three people is getting bigger and bigger, and if she doesn't work hard, she can't even see their taillights. Li Tiansha sighed and returned to training. Yuanjie opened the optional leapfrog divine skill treasure chest, and couldn't help frowning. I've evolved into Kaleidoscope Chakra. Why do I still have Amaterasu and Jia to me? Isn't this a cubicle holder? System, as far as your awakened kaleidoscope pupil technique is concerned, there will be no Amaterasu and his oil life in your life. He felt that his kaleidoscope pupil technique was very strong and belonged to the game modifier level, self-selected leapfrog divine skill treasure chest. Although the divine power is very strong, Yuanjie still chooses Amaterasu without hesitation. In his previous life, he was Madara Fam plus Itachi, but he was not cold to the protagonist Sasuke. Being able to have the ability of a weasel in a parallel world is a dream come true. I'm learning moon reading and Amaterasu now, or will I find a few self-righteous family children tomorrow to try the power? Yuanjie touched his chin. In the end, he selected 5,000 bottles of cultivation experience potion at once and concentrated its essence into one bottle. He drank it in one gulp, refreshed. Yuanjie's bones were rattled, and the spiritual power pool in his body was quickly replenished. Ugh! Key hens! He couldn't help but moan in comfort. Yuanjie clenched his fists tightly, feeling the surging spiritual power in his body. 5,000 bottles of cultivation experience potions allowed him to upgrade to the 4th order of the gradual convergence realm, which was okay. Suddenly, he regretted it. He already knew that he had chosen another heavenly god just now, even if he dropped the step or gradually merged with a 1st order. In the final, self-selected divine skill chest, Yuanjie chose Immortal Arts. Turning on Immortal mode increases strength and speed several times, and greatly boosts other skills. After learning Immortal Arts, Yuanjie opened his eyes. He saw that the whole world was flowing with natural energy. He gently grabbed it, and the energy rushed into his body, moisturizing the spiritual power pool. He suddenly found that the spiritual power pool in his body seemed to have changed, no longer transparent and colorless, but turned into a thick white liquid, which was a little strange. Yuanjie put the index finger and middle finger of his right hand together to turn on the Immortal mode. There are more cyan eye shadows around his eye sockets, which looks extremely strange. At the same time, one of his black hair was dyed handsome silver white from top to bottom. Yuanjie squatted down and looked at the puddle on the side of the road. He said to himself, white hair? It seems that this is the exclusive skin of Krypton Gold. At this time, the master of the Great Evening Realm of the Desolate Ancient Academy, who was sitting on a big tree not far away, opened his eyes. He felt that there was a strange energy gathering between heaven and earth. What is this? He looked at Yuanjie stunned and turned into a white-haired boy. Wait, his eyes froze. A clown is coming. Chapter 46. The person who came was the master of the K family. In the first trial of the secret realm before, the K family arranged for 2 masters of the fusion realm to go in and do things. I didn't expect to burp when I didn't do anything. Of course, the K family did not know. They thought it was Yuanjie's ghost, because they saw Yuanjie's figure in the surveillance camera. Therefore, they thought twice and felt that they would find out Yuanjie's secret. They didn't know that the Desolate Ancient Academy had already sent the Wind God to protect Yuanjie. After all, the Jiangho K family was not a family, but a wealthy family, and they were not worthy. It's just a fusion realm clown, that's it, leave it to him to solve by himself. Yateo continued to close his eyes. After turning on the Immortal mode, Yuanjie was keenly aware that the surrounding energy was repelled by powerful spiritual power. I didn't think that Immortal Arts had such a wonderful use. It could detect the breath of the strong people around it, and with the white eyes, it could avoid danger in advance. Yuanjie opened the white eye, and now the white eye has been upgraded to the 2nd stage, and can observe through the obstacle. A big late realm, a fusion realm. However, it seems that there should be no hostility in the Great Evening Realm. The problem is that the one who fused in the realm, he felt a strong killing intent on the other party. Yuanjie frowned. This K family has killing intentions for themselves one after another, there must be something strange. He flew behind Li Tiansha and told her softly, I'll leave for a while first, you pay attention to safety. Then he nodded her forehead and transcribed a seal in her right eye. Li Tiansha snorted obediently, and in the blink of an eye, Yuanjie disappeared. Yanhao was lying against a tree. He opened his eyes, and Yuanjie was gone. Then, he looked around and saw Yuanjie's figure near the K family clown. That golden flash is kind of interesting. The K family fusion realm expert is named K Ruin. She just found a good position to stand down, but the person who followed her disappeared. A chill suddenly appeared behind her, and a casserole-sized fist slammed towards her location. After she landed, she looked around, but she could not find the figure of the sneak attacker. 3 seconds later, her back hurt, and when she reacted, the person had already fallen to the ground, smashing a large pit 10 meters deep. She struggled and said in a deep voice, Who the hell are you? Stop pretending to be a ghost. Have the ability to come out and fight. A male voice echoed around. Didn't your K family come to find me? Asked while knowing the answer. K Rulin's heart trembled. How did the other party know that she was from the K family? She is now dressed in black, with only one pair of eyes on the outside, covering up all identity-related items. Yuanjie suddenly appeared in front of her, and said with a hook at the corner of his mouth, the K family imprint at the peak has been exposed. It's quite funny, it's the outer 8, it's a pity. K Rulin felt ashamed, and she gritted her teeth in resentment. She is a woman, being teased like this, she knows how she is seen. She picked up the dagger and quickly stabbed it forward. She must kill this disciple. Who knows, just as the dagger was about to touch Yuanjie, a golden flash blinded her dog's eyes. Yay! She burst out with the strength of the 5th order of the fusion realm with all her strength, summoning a spirit beast that resembled a pheasant. The ancestors of the Jiangho K family preached with chickens, and their family's exercises were passed down. Her hands quickly froze, and then she shouted, Old Yan Yu catches chickens. Yuanjie suddenly felt that the flow of spiritual power around him was rapidly slowing down, and he smiled contemptuously. It's a bit magical, but it's a pity that I'm in immortal mode now, and it's useless to me. He took advantage of his unpreparedness and threw another punch. K Rulin snorted and spat out a mouthful of blood. Vian heavenly lead, Yuanjie grabbed her chicken in his hand, and with a little force on his wrist, the chicken died. The spirit beast was destroyed, which was very hurt for the strong man of the beast royal lineage. Fortunately, she had another chicken that did not hurt the origin. Smell the chicken and dance. The newly summoned chicken was actually singing and dancing? It's stupid to show Yuanjie. Have you ever seen a chicken that dances? K Rulin thought that the other party was controlled, and then she sneered and controlled the chicken to fly towards him. The hen cries sharply and pounces like an arrow with her wings open. Cluck cluck. Unexpectedly, the chicken was strangled by the throat of fate, and it fluttered its wings in pain, wanting to attack Yuanjie with its claws. K Rulin was shocked. This one she contracted was a pure-blooded fire spirit chicken, and its strength was as high as the 9th order of the fusion realm. The flying chicken pounced on it just now. Even a master of the 9th order of the fusion realm was difficult to guard against. How could it be? He was suddenly caught by Yuanjie. Your chicken moves too slowly and not strong enough. In the side of the Sharingan, everything seemed to be slowed down several times, and he could easily see the weakness of the chicken with his white eyes. Yuanjie raised his left hand and said slowly, Bagua empty palm. A visible air shock wave hit K Rulin, and she hurriedly resisted it with her hand, and was blown away hundreds of meters by a palm, until she hit the wall violently and did not stop. The powerful palm wind left a trace several meters deep on the ground. Fortunately, this is a suburb and not many people live there. She didn't expect that Yuanjie would be so strong, and with the cultivation of the gradual convergence realm, she would be able to equalize with the masters of the fusion realm. She quickly summoned the matter to the family through a secret law. It seems that tonight, she has more chickens in her chest and less chickens. Yuanjie's right eye riding wheel I3 hook jade turned wildly, and finally formed a kaleidoscope pattern. There is rice in the thesaurus. The pupil of his right eye dilated, pulling the other party into the moon reading space. K Rulin's eyes were dark, and his eyes were full of Yuanjie's strange right eye. Then she was shocked to find that her surroundings had changed. She was tied to a cross, and the bottom was full of pools of blood condensed by grievances. There was a big red moon hanging overhead, and even the sky turned blood red. In front of her, there were two identical Yuanjie, holding hammers and long swords. Say, who ordered you to come? K-Rulin took a sip and gritted his teeth. You should never want to know. She would rather die than betray her family. Yuanjie on the left showed a cruel smile, and Yuanjie on the right showed an innocent still hand. Well, since that's the case, you just stay. After that, a long sword stabbed into the pit of her heart. Poof, it hurts so much, it's cool and sour. But K-Rulin found that he was not dead, and when the long sword was pulled out, the wound healed instantly. Why? No one answered her question. Another sword. Ugh, a miserable cry resounded throughout the moon reading space. K-Rulin in the real world was trembling, rolling his eyes and lying on the ground and twitching. You kill me, she begged for mercy with a horrified face. The corner of Yuanjie's mouth on the left was crooked. Kill you, which is so cheap. Right, Yuanjie, this cost 1000 spiritual power. I haven't played enough. Hammer, up, bang, the sound of a skull shattering is clearly audible. In the moon reading space, no matter what kind of cultivation you are, your body is similar to ordinary people, just as fragile. All pain will be truthfully fed back into the real body, making you better off alive than dead, and unable to seek death. I said it's not okay? Woohoo, you let me go. Please, I can promise you anything you ask me to do. K-Rulin cried. The two Yuanjie stopped the movement of their hands and looked at her with interest. It was Lao Tzu who asked me to come. Why did your ancestor target me? Because of what happened back then. Chapter 47. After Yuanjie listened to her answer, his eyes were gloomy. Unexpectedly, the death of his parents had a great relationship with the K family. Unfortunately, K-Rulin is not a core member of the family, and she does not know much about the inside story. It's just that it's probably clear that the K family united several major families to surround and kill Yuanjie's parents. Okay, thank you for informing me. Goodbye. K-Rulin breathed a sigh of relief, and the two evil gods finally left. However, there was a hot pain in her body. In reality, her body convulsed violently. Yuanjie, if you do not believe what you say, you must not die well. Why keep your promises against the people who want to kill me? Yuanjie looked indifferently at the body that was submerged in Amaterasu. 10 seconds later, K-Rulin was burned up by the black flames, leaving only a piece of dust. Yadhaya was stunned and hid on the sidelines and watched the whole process. This son is really decisive in killing. Is this the mindset of a high school student? Yuanjie walked in his direction, showed a harmless smile of humans and animals, nodded, and then Flying Thunder God returned to Li Tiansha's side. Finished. Li Tiansha arched the tip of his nose and frowned. You have the smell of other women's perfume. That being said, she wouldn't have asked him more about what he had just done. Whatever he does, she will support him unconditionally. Because he is now her only reliance in this world. Li Tiansha still remembered the scene when he first came to Yuanjie's house. It was pouring rain outside, and she was drenched, curled up in hungry homes knocking on doors, begging for food. For as long as she can remember, she has been living a wandering life with no fixed place to live, often with ups and downs. She didn't know how long she had been wandering alone before she came to Jianghu City. Here she met two people who changed her life. It is clear that the two siblings of Yuan and Yi Yuanjie have little money, but they are willing to take them in. Usually, Yuanjie would run to the deep mountains and forests to collect some wild vegetables to sell, while Yuanjie followed behind to dig out birds' nests and hunt. Originally, it was very difficult to maintain food for two people, and there was one more burden. Li Tiansha didn't know how the two siblings persevered at that time. Not only did she eat a lot, but she was also weak and sick, and it can be said that most of the expenses of this small family were wasted on her. She has the best relationship with Yuanjie, but Yuanjie treats her generally, which may be related to Yuanjie's cold personality. She had always vaguely felt that Sister Yuanjie's eyes were very strange when she looked at her. It was as if on the defensive front of herself from robbing her beloved. This small family, Yuanjie gradually got better after he was successfully admitted to the 6-Dao Academy. Every month, Yuanjie would send 30 gold spirit coins home for his younger brother and sister to study and live. 30 gold spirit coins can live well in Jianghu City. Even though Yuanjie seemed to look at his eyes a little strangely, Li Tiansha was still grateful. In this life, Yuanjie and Yuanjie are my Li Tiansha's family for the rest of my life. Seeing that she was stunned, Yuanjie gently nodded her forehead, and said softly, "It's 1 o'clock in the morning, go back and rest." Li Tiansha snorted obediently and followed him home. returned to the small home that belonged to the three of them. Yuanjie was lying on the bed staring at the ceiling. He wanted to teach immortal arts to Li Tiansha, but he couldn't start. Immortal arts have a great enhancement for the 8 doors of Yuanjie, and the improvement of immortal arts is addition rather than multiplication. After thinking for a long time, he still didn't think of a good way, and he fell into deep sleep. When he got up the next day, Yuanjie was surprised to find that the spiritual power pool in his body seemed to have risen a little. I blanch. Powerful. Could it be that immortal arts can cultivate by themselves? Today is customary to go to school, and when Yuanjie and Li Tiansha stepped into the classroom, it seemed that everyone's eyes were a little strange when they looked at them. Everyone? Do I have words on my face? What word? Handsome. Almost all the family students in the same class received videos from their elders. In the video, Yuanjie's group cooperated tacitly. One person sucked and one pressed one person to lick, and the scene was once unbearable to look at directly. They lost heartily. Even if Yuanjie doesn't have that weird 200,000 points bonus, with his hundreds of thousands of points, he is still the first. Even, the record of the initial test points maintained by Bali Middle School for more than 10 years was broken, and it was raised to a height that should not be reached. They were particularly impressed by Yuanjie's skill in absorbing all the extraterritorial spirit beasts within a radius of several kilometers. It is worthy of being an SSS-level genius, and strange means emerge one after another. Of course, what surprised them the most was not Yuanjie, but Li Tiansha. Everyone never expected that an F-grade waist physique could actually burst the gradual convergence realm spirit beast with one punch. Even in the face of the Ronghu realm, there are back and forth. The analysis of the family should be the reason for the exercise. Many families moved the thief's heart and wanted to plunder her and force her to hand over the top exercises. Unfortunately, Yuanjie has always been with her and is inseparable. They don't have much chance to start. Yuanjie is now followed by a big late realm, and no family dares to go to Ho-Ho. Moreover, that person is said to be the god of wind, known as the super strong of the world's first swordsman. Invincible under the big knight, 1 for 1 above the big knight. Unless 3 great late realm masters are sent, but doing so means that the family and the academy faction will go to war in an all-out way, and the price will be too great. Academic, a top organization that wanders away from the family. No one knows how many masters there are, only that they are almost all composed of civilian top combat power. There are also 7 chiefs in the academy, all of whom are the top combat power of the 9th order of the Great Late Realm, plus Yeteo is a total of 8 gods. If you don't brag, send a few at random to wipe out any of your families. However, doing so is likely to arouse the wrath of the family and be rallied and annihilated. Therefore, the strong men of the academy pretended to be Buddhist, did not take the initiative to provoke war, and devoted themselves to teaching and educating people and resisting foreign enemies. And the official of the Great Xia dynasty attached great importance to them. Now it seems that Yuanjie is a talent designated by the academy to protect, and even the Huangfu family of the 3 major families has to be cautious. Unless it's a last resort. Strange to say, in the past 100 years, the academy has begun to accept the children of the family and provide them with cultivation resources and exercises, just like a glorious image of serving the country and the people. The family really has no good excuse to go to their troubles. At present, the Maison maintains a friendly and cooperative relationship with the academy. Until, out of the freak Yuanjie. Break this balance. This crazy woman, relying on her special physique, often strikes against some families. Those families who were victims all had a common characteristic, that is, they had tortured and killed secular children. For example, the Ning family has been miserable in recent days. The younger generation died inexplicably thousands of people in 3 days, and Ning Yaowei once appealed at the family assembly and asked the 3 major families to suppress Yuanjie. The result was obvious, the 3 major families did not like him at all. The family is all separate, please solve the affairs of your own family, don't take us with you. At the end of the day, there are still not enough chips. If Ning Yaowei is ruthless and divides half of the Ning family's property, do you think the 3 major families will rush over to help? Since Yuanjie can't deal with it, Ning Yaowei plans to find an opportunity to kill him when Yuanjie graduates. A tooth for a tooth, kill a chicken and a monkey. He didn't believe it, and the wind god could always stay by Yuanjie's side. Chapter 48. The Fusion Realm Powerhouse Spirit card sent to secretly monitor Yuanjie shattered, and the K family was shocked. They have no idea about the situation of Shenmue. Previously, K-Rulin wanted to inform the family of Yuanjie's true strength through a secret method, but before he could edit the information, he was forcibly dragged into the moon reading space by a kaleidoscope. The right eyelid of the ancestor of the K family jumped, making his mood even more depressed. As the saying goes, the left eye jumps wealth, the right eye jumps disaster. Is it possible? Nope. No way. The K family has stood in Jianghu for hundreds of years. For the sake of caution, he decided to slow down his plan against Yuanjie first. The unknown enemy is the most terrifying. K-Rulin, a top expert of the Third Order of the Fusion Realm, was silently killed, and the cause of death is unknown. During the family meeting, someone came in and reported, "Lao Zu, Miss Kag is back." Everyone's faces changed. Why did this little witch suddenly come back from Jincheng? When it was too late, a bloated woman twisted her crotch and walked in, and many men couldn't help but tremble their legs. Kag, the first SS-level physique genius in the history of the K family, she awakened the physique of the physique, and 3 years ago, like Yuanjie, she chose to strengthen her eyes. Since then, she has gained the ability to fake the demon fox. Although she herself is ugly, she is still a 500-pound tank, but once she activates the fake charm eye, in the eyes of everyone, she is a peerless beauty, and every cluster is full of this damn temptation. What's even more terrifying is that she directly ruined herself after graduating from high school and became a hen that could not lay eggs. What about K Yingjin? Is he there? K Ying's handsome face suddenly turned bloodless. He couldn't help but think back to that nightmare. Lao Zu, I'm afraid I can't do it. Kag covered her mouth and chuckled. The men couldn't help but shrink. Then, Lao Zu looked at the two young men below. The two of them stood unsteadily and collapsed on the ground. A charming laughter echoed in the K family mansion hall. Kag waved her hand gently, and the four disappeared directly. No, don't sit on it. Yes. I blanch. The head of the K family wiped the cold sweat that broke out on his forehead and said, "It seems that after the 3-year period, AIG skills have greatly improved." Lao Zu nodded thoughtfully. Not bad. With AIG, our Jianghu K family, soaring, is just around the corner. It is not impossible for him to be promoted to the family day by day. He was ashamed, not panicked at all. Anyway, he was old and decaying, and Kag would not call his name. Old ancestor. The K family's old ancestor was shocked. Yuanjie, who was hidden thousands of meters away from K's mansion, used his white eyes to spy on everything that happened to the K family just now. He naturally saw that epic action movie, and immediately gasped. However, that woman named Kag is obviously a stunning beauty. Why do you feel that they are all so resistant? He shook his head and slowly closed his eyes. It seems that Kag has a very important position in the K family, so let's start with her. A flash of golden light disappeared into the darkness. Then, Yaheo stood where Yuanjie was just now, with a puzzled expression. What is he doing here? The next night, Yuanjie called out the spirit object Mulan. Sister Mulan, you don't have to follow me. You should know that there is also a big late realm master protecting me. Mulan looked in the direction of the wind god Yaheo, and then nodded. You follow the shallow side to protect her. Since the accident in the secret realm forest, Yuanjie has resummoned a Mulan with the third order strength of the Great Evening Realm, and gave her the spirit weapon Bladeless Epee. If Mulan fights Yaheo, it will definitely not be able to fight, but it will definitely give the other party a headache. Yuanjie came to the largest entertainment venue in Jianghu City, Zunjin Garden. In this world, the ratio of men and women is extremely exaggerated, and many women can only be widows for the rest of their lives. Thus, the root-seeking garden came into being. Generally speaking, the big Lang inside is physically physique and strong. Of course, there are also some men who have already started families who come out to work part-time. Who wouldn't want to be able to enjoy and make money? The gate of Zunjin Garden is bustling with people, and all the women who come and go are rich families, and I have to say that the business is very hot. Occasionally, there are some women in ordinary clothes who have saved half their lives and want to experience it. However, this thing eats the essence of taste. And with the first time, there will be a second time. If the seeds can take root and germinate by luck, it can be regarded as fulfilling their mother's dream. It not only creates tax revenue, but also invisibly drives the population, so the official does not prohibit this. Young sister, come in and play, a handsome and extraordinarily handsome man shouted at the door. Yuanjie frowned. He didn't expect that Kag would actually appear in such a place tonight. He hesitated for a moment, then put on a tiger skin mask and only showed his right eye. Little son? When the man saw Yuanjie, his expression froze. His eyes looked Yuanjie up and down, his body was well proportioned, his body was like a jade tree, he was wearing a black-purple tight robe, and he looked like a superb man who was dressed thin and undressed. He quickly changed his face and said with a sneer, "This prince, are you here to apply?" Yuanjie shook his head. "No, I'm here to consume." Consumption, consumption, the man was stunned. He had never heard of the joy of fish and water, and he had never heard of the goodness of long yang. He couldn't help but wonder if life, between men and men, can also experience happiness? The man can't think of a reason if he wants to break his head, can he? Will it really be fun? He suddenly wanted to give it a try. Yuanjie frowned and looked at his expression, and knew that this product wanted to be crooked. Without much explanation, he took out a money bag full of gold spirit coins from his pocket and threw it into the air. The man understood in seconds. He turned sideways to make a way and made a gesture of invitation. No matter what the other party is here for, if you have money, you are uncle. When Yuanjie passed by the man's side, he whispered, "Set up the Anling Hall on the second floor for me, serve good wine and food, and then call your top card over." The man took the 2 gold spirit coins in his hand, and a smile spread on his face. "Dare to ask the guest officer, what to call? Just call me Brother G." "Okay, Brother J." The man personally welcomed Yuanjie upstairs, attracting inexplicable eyes along the way. But men come here too? Oh, my God. I started to get excited. Some people shook their heads. There are few men in the world, and there are still people who spoil themselves so much, so why are the majority of leftover women embarrassed? The man lightly covered the door, hunched his waist and walked out. He came to the edge of the table and saw an employee tossing gold spirit coins here idly. He called it over. Our way. If you are listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means it was downloaded and re-uploaded without effort. We warmly invite you to visit our channel, Fanfic World. There you will find the original version of this story and many other novels of various genres. We look forward to seeing you dive into a world of incredible novels. Chapter 49. You go to the Anling Hall on the second floor to entertain Brother G, Arway answered listlessly, and he silently turned upstairs. After taking 2 steps, he felt that something was wrong. Brother G? I'm blanching, male? He ran back with a whoosh. Brother Kun, you won't be joking, will you? Brother Kun looked at Arway with a solemn expression, patted him on the shoulder and said, I'm not kidding you, I'm serious, this is a big tycoon, casually shot as 100 gold spirit coins, you have to entertain well. Arway almost cried, but, how should I entertain a man? Brother Kun said seriously, just listen to the guest, he will do whatever you want you to do, don't resist. Arway suddenly chrysanthemum tightened. He looked at Brother Kun with a shocked face. Go, warrior. Yuanjie sat down in the Anling Hall, took a sip of wine, and opened his eyes hidden under the mask. The reason why he chose to be in the Anling Hall was because the next room was where Kag fought. He frowned and said with disgust, I'm afraid this woman is not some serious illness, right? So? At this time, Xiao brought the wine and food and bowed and retreated. Arway walked in with a constipated look, although he had long been mentally prepared, and the moment he saw Yuanjie, he almost couldn't bear it. Brother G, he said hello with a flushed face. What's your name, Brother G? If only you called me Arway. Yuanjie's expression became strange. He noticed that the battle next door had just ended, and now was a good opportunity to make his own move. So, Yuanjie shouted, take off, huh? Arway was bloodless, he took a few steps back and begged for mercy. Brother G don't want it, how can Brother G do this? Don't ink. Look at me. Yuanjie approached him step by step, and his right eye gradually turned scarlet. Arway lowered his head and did not dare to look at him, his body trembling. You let him entertain Brother J, it's better to let him play World of Tanks. Yuanjie lifted his chin with his fingers, and Arway was stunned. Good, so overbearing. Without waiting for him to make another expression, he fell on the bed, delirious and confused. Yuanjie wiped his hands in disgust, and he pushed open the window and jumped out. Kag lay quietly on the bed. Suddenly, she heard footsteps, a handsome man wearing a tiger skin mask. She obviously didn't see the other party's face, and with her countless experiences, She could think that this person must be a rare beautiful man. Her fighting spirit was rekindled. Unexpectedly, as soon as her eyes turned to Shuang Yuanjie, she was pulled into the blood-red moon reading space. To her horror, she found herself tied to a cross and unable to move. Standing in front of her were two men in tiger skin masks who looked exactly the same. After Yuanjie just read Kajiu, he couldn't help but be stunned when he saw the person tied inside. Isn't she a peerless beauty? How so? A lump of fat flesh shook with her fear, bringing waves with her. Who the hell are you? Kaji is worthy of being a genius with an SS-level physique. What scene has she never seen? She suddenly thought that maybe the other party did not have any malice towards her. Then, she licked her lips. Young man, you can play better than me. Zuo Yuanjie doesn't say nonsense, just whip it over. Ugh, Kaji let out a scream. She smiled wickedly. Not bad, a little harder. Yuanjie on the left changed a weapon and turned into an axe. Kaji's pupils shrank. Ugh, this time it was a real scream. Kaji was shocked to find that her originally bloody body had recovered in an instant. What the hell is this? Either become my pawn or die. He's so domineering, I like it so much. Kaji completely forgot the pain just now. Yuanjie on the right frowned, and a mace greeted her. Since you don't agree, then enjoy it slowly. Since Kaji's divine sense was pulled into the moon reading space, the fake charm she cast outside naturally lost its effect. Yuanjie glared at them, and the man in the room passed out again. In the moon reading space, Kaji shouted that no one came to save her. She began to panic, very panicked. The other party is afraid that he is not going to come for real, right? The screams went on, in an infinite loop. Kaji was sweating profusely, and she felt that if she continued to torture like this, she was afraid that she would lose 200 pounds. The point is, this illusion is too weird. The two people in front were like emotionless killers, slashing at her body one by one, without frowning their brows. And myself, but endured the piercing pain of bone-piercing heart over and over again, and I couldn't die if I wanted to. Release, let me go, you can let me do anything, Kaji cried out with a handful of snot and tears. I have to say that Kaji is really a strange person, and she tortured her for an hour before letting go. Zuo Yuanjie said while chopping with an axe, are you sure? Shhh, Kaji's tiger body shook, and she replied with a trembling voice, I can swear. Yuanjie on the right beat her body with a mace, and flesh and blood flew everywhere. He said expressionlessly, if you swear that it is useful, there will not be so many people in this world who do not believe in words. How the hell are you going to let me go? Woohoo. After continuing to torture for half an hour, Kaji hung her head in frustration. I'll ask you one last time. Do not be my pawn. She nodded vigorously. Good, the two Yuanjie put away their weapons. In a trance, Kaji felt that the strange blood moon was gone, and she returned to the attic hall of the root-seeking garden. The man in the tiger mask reappeared, and she retreated in fear, stepped on something and fell to the ground. She was scared incontinent just now, miserable. Yuanjie took a few steps away in disgust, and Kaji quickly wiped the filth on the ground with her clothes. You know, I can torture you once, I can torture you countless times, don't think about playing any cleverness. If I catch you next time, I will make you live better than die. Kaji knelt on the ground and kowtowed. I remembered, master, you let me go east and I will never go west. After you go back, first bring me your K family's almanac. Kaji didn't understand much, but she didn't dare to ask more. The family calendar records all the things that the family has done in the past, and it is not easy for her to get it from her ancestor. But no matter what, she did not dare to go against Yuanjie's will, and the hour and a half just now was the most painful and torturous time she had experienced in her life. Yes, master, Yuanjie Waxiang Xian'an took the money bag she threw on the bed in his hand and said indifferently, I want this money, you shouldn't mind, right? No, Yuanjie weighed it. It seems that the number is quite a lot, and he has earned. He pushed open the window and left a word before jumping out. I'll give you up to 3 days, if you can't do it, you will bear the consequences. Wait a minute, how should I find you? Kaji was so anxious that she almost cried. What if she got the family calendar book within 3 days, but couldn't find the other party? Don't worry, I'll find you wherever you are. Chapter 50. The next night, Yuanjie came to the vicinity of K's mansion and suddenly appeared behind Kaji. The elusive man in the tiger mask startled her. Yuanjie stretched out his hand, What about the calendar? In here, Kag handed it over respectfully. Go back and wait for the notification. Before Yuanjie left, he cast a short-term illusion to put her into coma, and then left with a yellow flash. He is very cautious. No matter how the K family is, they are all Jianghe giants. The ancestor of the K family has the strength of the third order of the Great Evening Realm, which is not the most important. Yuanjie felt that under K Mansion, there was a powerful existence, and the aura was very terrifying. If he is not sure of the battle, he will not rush up to fight with a hot brain. After returning home, Yuanjie picked up the family calendar book and looked at it at a glance. The more I looked at it, the more frightened I became. I couldn't imagine that Jiren was so frustrated. In just 100 years, in order to consolidate the family's status, he actually took action to suppress and mutilate millions of worldly children, and even the people of Daksha dared to move. His gaze gradually became cold. Whether this K family had a relationship with his parents or not, they must die. If this book of the K family calendar were submitted to the Truth Society, within 3 days, they would have to be raided. But Yuanjie will not trust the legendary Truth. The Truth Society is the official judicial body of the Great Xia Kingdom, which has developed for so many years, and the internal personnel are intertwined. I'm afraid it has already been infiltrated by the family, right? Otherwise, why did the head of the Ning family kill the 4 people in public and come back after just going around for a walk? So many people watched, publicized that there was no sufficient evidence to convict, and deceived 3-year-olds? Yuanjie finally found the time period when his parents died violently. He rummaged through it, but found nothing. So he rolled his eyes, only to find that 2 pages had been artificially torn off. Sure enough, there must be some hidden secret. After looking through it for nearly 2 hours, he found no clues. It was as if this matter had nothing to do with the K family. But Yuanjie didn't believe it. If it didn't matter, how could he tear off those 2 pages? He continued to look for clues. Finally, there was a word that puzzled him. The first word of ex-human body was artificially destroyed, and even if he opened his eyes, he could not see it clearly. Yuanjie mused, generally speaking, the siege and killing of several major families is nothing more than 3 motives. The first is vendetta, the second is to seize treasure, and the third is to eliminate threats. The possibility of vendetta is unlikely. In the vague memory of the original body, his parents were honest farmers, kind to people, and never got into trouble. It is very likely that he will seize the treasure, but he has rummaged through the items left at home in the past few days, and there is nothing worth paying attention to. It is also possible to eradicate the threat. According to the mysterious woman in the secret forest, her parents are most likely devil kings. Otherwise, he would not have united several major families to besiege and kill. However, the question arises, if it is really a threat to be eradicated, why not cut him and his sister to the roots? It seems that the road to finding the truth is a long way off. As soon as Yuanjie looked at the alarm clock, I was already 5 o'clock, and I unconsciously had a night. It's good that tomorrow and the weekend, I don't have to go to school. Yuanjie breathed a sigh of relief. He suddenly thought of something. Since he couldn't find a trace in the K family for the time being, why not go to the place where his parents were buried? Maybe something will be discovered. He was also in no mood to go to sleep, got up and exercised. Now he is still in the 4th order of the gradual convergence realm, playing the general fusion realm casually, but playing a strong family with a foundation, it is not good. He felt a pang of pressure. This pressure is even heavier than when you graduated and found a job. Li Tiansha's alarm clock sounded at 6 o'clock in the morning. She yawned, went out with a fluffy hairstyle to prepare for breakfast, but found that Yuanjie was already busy inside. She was stunned. Why did you get up so early today? Yuanjie walked over, lifted the pajamas that had slipped down to her shoulders, and said softly, pay attention to the image. Li Tiansha's little face turned rosy in an instant, like a ripe red apple. After washing, Li Tiansha sat on the dining table and waited to feed. She tasted the fried noodles made by Yuanjie, and her eyes couldn't help but shine. It's delicious. I really didn't expect that your cooking skills have improved so much. Yuanjie smiled. Single for 30 years of training. Do you think it's a joke? Will you make the meals after that? Li Tiansha supported his chin and winked at him. Seeing her cute appearance, Yuanjie nodded her forehead. Good. Li Tiansha really didn't expect that he would actually agree to come down. What's the situation? How does this lazy person feel like a different person? Become diligent, become gentle, become calm. Her state of mind changed unconsciously, and even she was not aware of it. Wait a minute, let's go worship my parents, okay, Yuanjie's parents, although Li Tiansha has never met, but the two siblings took her in and gave her a warm home since then. In her heart, Yuanjie's parents are my parents. Jiubao Mountain, there are few people here. When the two arrived, they couldn't help but be stunned when they saw a lively scene in front of them. What's going on? Yuanjie took her hand and ran over, but she didn't expect that the originally rugged mountain road had a straight avenue at this time. At this time, in front of the grave of Yuanjie's parents, a long line was formed. A pair of modestly dressed parents knelt in front of Yuan Xiansheng's tombstone, praying religiously. Father and mother, please bless and let my little daughter successfully awaken the SSS-level physique next year. If the wish is successful, he will definitely bring roasted fragrant pigs and firecrackers 100 meters to thank him. Please, please, Yuanjie, what kind of playing? People in the city are so good at playing? He saw that there were still people maintaining order, and although the line was long, no one was cutting in line. A harmonious scene. Hey, you boy, did you pay the bill? Take out your tickets if available. Yuanjie and Li Tiansha turned their heads to look at her strangely. I came to worship my own father and mother, and I have to pay you money, right? When the woman saw the indifferent look of the two young men in front of her, she wanted to be a white prostitute. She crossed her waist and warned, here is the father of the divine body who gave birth to two SSS-level physique geniuses. If you come up without paying money, if you are dishonest, you will not be spiritual. I advise you to do it yourself. Be careful of being eaten back. Yuanjie smiled and said, what's wrong? Can I successfully awaken my SSS-level physique after paying the money to worship? This is not guaranteed. Anyway, the probability of awakening a high-level physique will be greater. Oh, Yuanjie pulled Li Tiansha and turned his head and left. Stop. This place has been controlled by the K family, and if you break into it privately, you will anger the K family. You'll have to figure out the consequences. Yuanjie's footsteps paused, and he said coldly, this is my parents' blessed land. How did it become the domain of your K family? The quarrel here suddenly attracted a lot of attention. Someone recognized Yuanjie, and his parents, who knelt in front of the tombstone, cried even harder. A true SSS-level genius is here. Beling today. The woman suddenly didn't know what to do. However, Yuanjie gave a solution. He raised his right hand slightly, clenched his fist, and all the staff of the K family flew into the air. Beneath your feet is the abyss. Your K family, it's so daring, you dare to consume my deceased parents. End of this chapter. Thank you so much for reading until the end. Don't forget to give it a like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription or donation encourages us to continue. Thank you all. See you in the next video.